Yes, people, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show, live edition. It's Sunday, it's 10 o'clock at night. I don't even know if I'm live. Am I live? I'm not sure. Let's hope so. Guys, what's going on with Tottenham? What is going on with Tottenham? It is another disappointing game, another disappointing day, another day where you walk away kind of going, how am I gonna how am I gonna delicately say how I feel without offending people? And then you go, oh wait a minute, this is the new version of Sean Butler. We don't really care anymore. We don't really care. Like, there's going to be people that are going to be offended either way. And I spent too much of my life, I think, trying to be delicate, trying to kind of sand down the edges of what otherwise would be a little bit more rough and ready when it comes to the let me get rid of my stream. I was going to stream this to Twitter as well, but Twitter apparently needs an X Premium, and I let my subscription to X Premium fall over when all the shenanigans happen. Shenanigans are afoot, by the way, guys. They are afoot. Double-footed shenanigans are afoot. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if the sound is screechy or am I too quiet? Am I visible? Can you hear me? I don't even know, guys. I'm trying to get everything reconnected. I had to repay for my StreamYard subscription. That was a painful little deduction from the current account that's already had a major deduction from no fault of my own, as you know, over the last couple of months. 6 months, in fact, guys. And you know what? That 6 months has changed me. It's changed me. You know, there's like lines in the sand where you kind of go, maybe you're getting married, maybe you're getting divorced, maybe you had a kid, maybe you broke up with a work, career, colleague, boss, insert whatever the matters at the time, and then you get that like, oh, I remember a life before this, and I remember a new life after this, and you can't really go back. You can't go back. As you get older in life, I think there's more and more of those things that come along where there's a time before you lose someone, there's a time before, and you want to go back. You want to get into that kind of that you want to get into that kind of like maternal kind of ball and kind of go, please take me back to a time when it was fun and there was no concerns. Well, I had one of those moments, but it's like a drip feed 6 months. And over that time, I reflect now and I'm like, I don't care anymore about a lot of things. And you know what? Like I say, I always try to be balanced. I will remain attempting to be balanced. But at the same time, if I'm trying to like curb or sand down the vibes in order to protect myself from the influx of bad negative comments because I worry a little bit of offending one person or another or a group of people, I don't give a fuck. I've been waiting for 3 minutes until that 3 minute period's out. I'm done with caring. And tonight we're going to be talking a little bit raw stuff. We were fucking terrible today. We were awful. A lot of that is on Ange. I'm not Ange out. Saying it from the get-go. I'm not Ange out, but that doesn't mean that you cannot reflect on. You have to reflect. You have to be open-minded. And if you don't like it, you don't have to be here. You don't. It's okay. But listen, Ange got it wrong. He should not have rested Decky. I know that Decky might be all like ends out, but if Decky's going to come out and say things like, you know, I'm built different, there's something unique about me, and I agree, Decky. There is something. You've got 3 or 4 lungs, man. You've got 3 or 4 lungs. It's very impressive. You should have been on the pitch. Ange got his subs wrong. Ange got the tactics wrong. Ange didn't, I don't think, consider the strengths of Fulham. I think we all considered it. If I'm entirely honest, I was wildly impressed with the general take across the board from various channels. Channels I dislike, channels I like, channels I don't even know. I do my research and I figure out where the kind of the ground lay going into this game. How much respect did we give to Fulham going in? Because we didn't give enough respect to Roma. Roma were a good team. They are a good team. And I think everyone was like 3-0, 4-0. They're 11th in the league. You know what? We got that one wrong as a fan base. Today, I think that going into it, everyone was a little bit more weary, a little bit wary of the Thursday, Sunday thing, Fulham are a good team thing, it's a banana skin thing, and how the tables have turned, because it wasn't that long ago, was it? It was a couple of years ago that Tottenham were, if you were looking at the fixture list, if you were looking at the calendar and you were thinking, where do we get my 3 points from? Where are we getting those 3 points? Where are we getting the 60 points? Where are we getting the 80 points? Where are we getting the points to get into the Champions League? Or where do we go? You weren't really looking at Fulham and thinking anything other than I'm still getting this flu out of me. Look, I'm sweating, it's cold, and maybe I need to take this bad boy off. Shall I expose the pink? Yeah, maybe. We don't mind a bit of pink on this channel, do we? Not at all. Guys, how you doing? It's been one of those days for me where I'll be entirely honest. Like, I watched it, and I used to go to Tottenham with my dad. I live in Surrey now, as some of you know, which is it's southwest London, like out in the suburbs. And I used to live, when I was growing up, I used to live in a town like 5 minutes down the road, further away, if I'm entirely honest, 5 minutes further away from Tottenham. And we used to leave home at like 1 o'clock earliest to get to a 3 o'clock game. An hour, 10 minutes it was. Used to get there plenty of time, get my Ribena, my fish and chips, and plenty of time. Got my program, go up. Things have changed, man. Today, traffic was no different to how it usually is, but it took me 2 hours and 40 minutes to get to the game. And I didn't realise the game started at 1:30. I thought it started at 2. So I was panicking anyway. But then I get there and realised that I thought I still had 35 minutes. I wanted a beer. I wanted to go and say hi to people. And I'm like, it was stressful. It was stressful. It wasn't an enjoyable journey. It takes us long to get down the M25 to get to the A10, and then the A10 is just horrendous. And I'm just like, is it worth it? Well, it wants to be like attacking, entertaining football. I'll pay that. I'll do it for the entertainment. But today was just all over the place, not worth it. And I gotta be honest, like, it's not okay. It's not okay with me for that team to turn up. And we're going to talk about, is it explanations? Are they excuses? Is it injuries? Is it the twice a week thing? What are we saying, guys? What are we saying? We're going to talk about it together. Let me see who's coming in to say hello. What we got going on? We got GCTV first in the house. Evening, Sean. Good to see you, GCTV. Member of the show. Good to see you, buddy. Derek and Wenger. What's happening, Shawnee? What's happening, Derek? Good to see you, my man. Drew Zilla's in the house. Big up. Mate, if anyone wants to come on, the link is right there. The link is there. Look, honestly, I don't expect many people to come on. There's not a lot of people watching this Sunday night. It's late. Also, there's a few other channels streaming, and I'm not usually someone that does this sort of thing. So I'm not expecting a lot. But if you fancy coming on, letting some steam off, letting us know. Letting me know, because I'm going to go in a little bit. I'm going to go in on Brennan Johnson. I'm going to go in on Timo, 2 players that I've defended quite a lot. I thought they were absolutely atrocious today. I thought James Maddison was shocking. I thought Bissouma. Listen, if the best 3 players on your pitch were Fraser Forster, and I see you people out there in the comment section who always want to correct me and say it's an R in there, Shawnee. It's an R. Sure, it's Fraser Forster. I know it's Fraser Forster, but it's a little bit more effort, isn't it? It's effort to say Forster. It doesn't really sound right. It's like Forrest Gump. I just like Forrest, whatever, Foster. It's easier. We all know his name's Forster. Anyway, great game, great performance, world-class performance from him today. And the other 2 best players on the pitch for me, or best players in the Tottenham shirt at least, were Ben Davies and Radu Dragusin. And it's problematic if your best 3 players on the park in your colours were your 2 centre-backs and your goalkeeper, and yet you were thoroughly outplayed from first minute until the last. That's problematic, especially when that entire 11 largely could easily be a first 11 most of the time. Let's be honest, right? I know Sonny maybe's on the left and Dominic's lanky usually would be in the 9 and stuff, but Brennan Johnson is a starter. Sonny, starter. Maddison, starter. Generally, last season he was. Bissouma, last season he was starter. Pape Sarr, love the guy. Love him. There's a lot. We have to kind of figure out the Pape Sarr thing. It's a bit of an enigma. You have to take the bitter with the better with Pape Sarr, I think. You have to. I think he's going to be someone that's going to make mistakes because he's got that kind of daddy long legs. He can gallop across. He's not a gallop, is it? It's a canter. It is a gallop, but it's disguised as a canter. And I think that there is value in that. His ability to cover blades, to cover yardage without looking like he's sprinting. I think he catches people off guard. His ability to intercept, to interpret, to anticipate, I think it's fantastic. However, his desire to drive the ball forward is also met with currently a vulnerability in his passing range. He can get picked off too easily. It's a little bit too sloppy. And I think that I love everything about this guy. And I think that he has everything within him to be a top draw, top class. I'm not going to say world class, even though I've just said it. I'm not going to say it again because I know what you like. You're going to clip me. Not you. You guys aren't going to clip me. Someone else is going to clip me. Someone who doesn't really watch this stuff is going to clip me and then put it out there and go, Sean said to me, said world class. Blah, blah, blah. You know what happens. I'm not in the mood for that right now. Maybe later. But for now, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say he's got the potential to be top draw, but he needs to work on the ability to cover blades, to do what he does with the anticipation and the interceptions, and then also calm it down in moments where when he's thinking about the pass because he gets picked off and it's unnecessary. It's like his mind is trying to catch up with the ability for him to cover blades, and then he needs to calm it down. Also Decky, love him, not a complaint. No, this is not going to come across as a complaint, but I've got to be raw. I think that he is at the moment slightly. Let me ask this, guys. Have you ever? By the way, I am long of some prosecco, and I'm drinking it out of a. This is the mood I'm in. This is the mood I'm in. I'm someone that likes to drink anyway, and it's Sunday night, and thanks to my troubles, I don't have anything to get up for tomorrow, so we're going to go for it. But Decky has the he wants to come on and thinks he can take on the world by himself. His confidence in his own ability is reasonable. The guy's a class act. Love him. Say it again for the people in the back that aren't listening and they're just going to hear me criticize him or critique him and then going to say Sean is outrageous. I'm not. I love him, but he should have been on the pitch from the start, by the way. He should have been on the pitch. Ange got that one wrong. And if he didn't come on from the start, he should have been on far sooner than he was. But also Decky needs to recognise that he can't beat 7 men. And also, if he's coming on as a striker, then given the shape of the game and the way it was falling out, you need to also, Decky, recognise that you can't come back and pick up the ball and then drive and then expect Lucas Bergvall to be the guy who fills in as the striker in the last 10 minutes. It's unnecessary. It's not going to help. It's not going to work. By the way, future facts. There's going to be a new segment that's coming out on this channel. It's called Facts of the Future. Like these bad boys, this thing. Do you remember this? Where are we? Do you remember things like this?
Happy enough?
Remember that? We're going to bring back these little segments. I missed them. Let me get rid of this for a second. We do this as well.
Goodbye or goodbye.
Remember those? Do you remember them back in the day? Like 2022, 2023 stuff. Well, we've got a new one. It's going to be called Future Facts, where we're going to make predictions. And people that are going to come on are going to have to play the game. And they're going to say, like, whether they think something's going to happen or not, or whatever. We're going to figure out a way to make it fun for you lot. But future fact number one, Lucas Bergvall is going to be someone, and you're not going to hear this anywhere else yet. But it will be something that is a future fact. Lucas Bergvall is going to be a monster in the air. His ability to read the aerial threat, his ability to read the flight of the ball is incredible. Watch this space. You're going, what, Sean? Put down the Prosecco. What are you talking about? Ken Dole is not going to make the good aerial threat game like you think he is. And I'm saying you're wrong to think that, because I know that it's a rarity to see someone read the aerial flight like he does. He's not a big guy. He's not a tall guy. He's not particularly strong in the air. He hasn't got that kind of that neck giraffe strength that you need. But I promise you, you're going to be like reconsidering this. And you can clip this. Clip it. Because I'm putting a timeline on it. Within 2 years, by the end of the 26-27 season, Bergvall's going to be a monster in the air. Trust that. Trust it. Let's get back to the chat and see what we're at. Where we're at. Let's have we said hello to Drew, PH family. Big up Sean in chat. I'll be Ange in, Ange out, or Anged out. I'm Ange in. I am Anjin, but I'll be entirely honest, man. His explanations / excuses, his press conferences, I don't think he's fooling. Is he still fooling people? Like, he can say all the nice things and the tidbits where he's protecting people and saying things. I've got some of the quotes up here. Let me see if I can say this. Let me see if I can get them for you. And this is from the Daily Mail. You know what? I can't even share it. It's from a different browser. But he says, I've seen so much violin playing over one centre-back out, but we're just supposed to get on with it. There aren't too many teams. Oh, he's talking about Manchester City without Ruben Dias or Liverpool without Ibrahima Konate. He's basically saying, like, where's the sensitivities to our... Listen, I get it, man. There you go. Back to the thing. Is it explanations or is it excuses? What is it that are we doing here? There are explanations, but if they drag into the world of excuses, then you've got a problem in my mind, because we should be beating Fulham. Wonderful team. I like Fulham. I do like them. Lovely little club. But you know what? Their strongest assets are their fullbacks. Kenny Tete, so good. Anthony Robinson, so good. And they just set up in a way where it's a dream to play against Tottenham, because Tottenham are like I said on the fan cam thing with Sim, I did one on mine, I did one on his. I'm not sure if it's mine or his video where I said it, but if it's by design to let us, if it was deliberate to make the fullbacks come inside today, sloppy. It's just, you're not giving. It comes across as tactically lazy. So I'm Anjin, but like, you got us. Like, Ange has to figure out, for me, because otherwise he's going to get figured out by the fans. And I can see it a mile off. He doesn't mean what he says. When we drop points like we did today, his temperament is... That's the truth. His temperament is the truth, and the words that come out of his mouth are, I don't know, placating someone, something, some narrative that, it was better than it was. No, it wasn't. It was awful, Ange. It was awful. It's okay to say it was terrible. It's okay to say the boys have to work harder. The Thursday, Sunday thing, it's no excuse for everybody else. They find a way. Chelsea find a way. Liverpool find a way. City, okay, not now, but like, generally they've always found a way. United even find a way to get it done. United are as volatile and inconsistent as we are, but and they're worse than us. So I'm not even going to, you know what? Let me pull that one back. Everybody else, Villa, generally find a way. Like, there's no excuse. The explanation might be injuries, but our first 11 today is better than Villa, and most of the first 11, they shouldn't be exhausted. Ben Davies has played 4 games this season. Radu Dragusin. And I don't know why I mentioned those two, because those two were brilliant today. But Pedro Porro, fair enough, mate. Yeah, okay, fine. But if that's the case, if you're worried about the energy and the exertion that those guys are putting in, same with Destiny Udogie, then, well, Destiny Udogie didn't play on Thursday. And also, you can make an adaptation to your tactic where you allow them to sit a little bit deeper and you allow them to cover, especially against Fulham, who have the entire antithesis of what you want to see in Tete and Robinson overlapping the wide boys at the top and whipping in danger zones all day long. And you know what? I don't blame Pedro Porro for this. And I don't blame Destiny Udogie, boys and girls. I blame Brennan Johnson and Timo Werner, 2 men who I have defended to the hilt. But they were outrageously lazy today. Outrageously lazy. Brennan Johnson especially. Sorry, bro. You can't bang in 9 goals and rest on your laurels. And I let your finishing's top. I'm not saying they're tapping. You're not a Tommy tapping specialist. You're not. But you've got to do more. You have to work harder. And you're not working hard enough. You don't. Let me see where I'm at. There's a private chat. Oh, someone's in the back. Roxy boy. Put your camera on, Roxy, and I'll bring you in, man. Let me, good to see you, buddy. Let me, from Donegal. Lovely to see you. Where did I get to on the how's everyone doing? PH, good to see you, man. Yeah, okay. Agree. A bit disappointed, but we move on. We do move. But we can also We can also call it as we see. How you doing, Stratus? Good to see you, man. Druzilla, Future Music, maximum respect, Sean. Big up all in here. Good to see you, my buddy. Good to see you, bro. Phil Coys is in the house. Big up, Phil. Haven't seen you for ages, man. Do you want to come on? You can come on as well. Roxy boy, if you're still there, man. If you got to pull the. He might have disappeared. You got to put your cam and your mic on if you want to come on. Can't complain. Okay, that's how you're doing. What are we doing? Phil Coys, good to see you. We were terrible, says Fokoff. I like that name. Spurs fan John. Do you know what else really pissed me off? I'm gonna caveat this. If you are Levy out, if you made your mind up on it, that's fine. If you are, like political, the horseshoe of politics, you get like, you lean right, you lean left, or you're far right, you're far left. But yet in politics right now, the media would say that you're all put into the same group. If you happen to have conservative values, if you happen to think that the family unit is important, if you like low taxes and growth, and that's the way to get you out of debt. If you happen to be, of American origin and you're more in life over choice kind of thing, like you can lean that way. But that doesn't mean that you're racist. It doesn't mean that you're not far right. You don't sympathize or empathize with Adolf Hitler. There's a difference between the two. Same if you lean left, you can be like, no, it's your body, your choice. You believe in a social state, a welfare state. People that fall off the ladder, the chain, or the bandwagon, or whatever, they could do with a little help up. That's fine, but that doesn't mean you want to burn down cities and defund the police. There's a difference, right? With the kind of the Levy thing, bringing it back to Tottenham, if you lean a certain way, I'm fine with it. So I'm not going to say this, you're not part of that group. But if you are someone who at every opportunity, and I've already seen it, I've seen it so many places, that I've seen it all over Twitter. I've seen it in comment sections on the videos that I was on We Are Tottenham TV. I've already seen it in my own section as well, my own comment section. If you are someone who brings out a narrative like, just after we drop points against Fulham, change the players, change the manager, nothing changes, the owner stays the same, Levy out, bore the fuck off. Bore off with that bollocky narrative. It's so ridiculously tiresome. A, the owner doesn't give a fuck. He ain't going anywhere until he gets his money. Neither are the other directors. And B, the only thing more inconsistent than Ange Ball is that narrative. Because where were you when Tottenham beat City 4-0? If it's Levy's fault that we dropped points against Fulham, then surely Levy is to take the credit when we beat City. Even if you feel that way and you are reasonable, where's the analysis? What are you you're invested enough in Tottenham to go out of your way to leave a comment on a video or to go onto Twitter and say your piece. But it's so redundant. It's such a redundant, lazy fucking argument. Tell me about the game. Give me your thoughts on Brennan. Give me your thoughts on Ange's subs, which, by the way, were terrible. Let's be honest. They were terrible. But what are you trying to achieve with we drop points against a team that are really good, but, that's Levy's fault. Okay. So if that's Levy's fault, then surely by the same lazy logic, Daniel Levy is responsible for Man City, right? No? I didn't see your comment then. Sorry, guys. Like I say, I'm not even Levy in, by the way. I'm more than happy for him to go. I just hate lazy, bollocky arguments, and it's so boring. It's so boring. And if you are Levy out, I welcome you guys on the channel. You can come on right now if you want to come on and tell me why. And I'm more than happy. I don't resent anybody's opinion if it's got some basis in logic and it's well thought through. There's loads of people. There's loads and loads of people that come on this channel all the time. Phil Penny, love him. He's Levy out. But you know what? He's well versed. It's an educated opinion that considers the narrative, and he just happens to bake it all in and then land that way. Great. Happy. Johnny Sava. Clever guys, smart guys, happy to chew the fat, happy to debate. But this is this like, oh, we lost again. Let's put out the old drum. Levy out time, Levy out time. Shut the fuck up. It's boring. It's so boring. It's so boring. Honestly, it's like I can't even handle it. Anyway, let's go back. Where did I get to? We've got super chat. Moondog, welcome back, Sean. Spurs are doing me in slowly. Yeah, you know what, mate? You know what? I'm going to get a load of shit for saying that. Like I say, couldn't care. New Sean, don't care. Don't care anymore. I don't care. By the way, I haven't opened this one yet, but if you guys are from, you guys, I don't know where you're from, but have you discovered these bad boys? Actually, I say I haven't opened it. I obviously did open it at some point. I only had a slurp, but these things are magic. They don't sell these around where I'm from. But Mr. Magnum, wherever you are, I think you're Jamaican, right? If you're looking for a sponsor, I will happily sponsor this incredible tonic. It's sensational. Gives you the right little, makes you like, yeah, buddy. Makes you feel warm inside, like it's kind of like a Christmas. What's the thing people drink at Christmas time? Not mulled wine. It kind of is like mulled wine, but there's the other thing that they do. Egg schnog. Schnog? No, that's what am I thinking of? I know what I'm thinking of. Anyway, whatever it is, the thing that you shouldn't really be drinking, but you drink it on Christmas Day really early, and it gives you that kind of warm, like thing in your belly. Yeah, this is kind of does that. Whenever I get to Tottenham, I have one of them, and then that keeps me going throughout the day. I love it. And I only have one because you've got to be driving home safe. And like 6 hours later, I get in the car. But yeah, that's what I got my second one for. And it's delicious. Anyway, Moondog saying, welcome back, Sean. Spurs are doing me in slowly. I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for the super chats. And it's great to see you, Moondog. Really is. Are you still doing those engraves? The engraved, is it tea? Cozy? The tea? Not tea things. The cup hold. You know what I'm talking about. Let me know. He's also been a member for 29 months. Jesus H. Mary and Joseph. 29 months. That is 2.5 years. And I didn't even know I've been around for that long. I guess I have. I think my channel started in December. Actually, next week is the 3-year anniversary of my channel. I think it was December it was 2022. No, 2021. Anyway, thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much for the support, man. You're a legend. You're an absolute gee-whiz geezer. Where did we get to? I'm sure the Levy out reactions are going to come in soon. Where did I get to on the hellos? Bit like before and after. Joe Hendry's in the house saying, "I love you, Sean. Glad you're back." I appreciate you, Joe. Love you too, my man. Love you too. Do you know what? Actually, the meeting people in the stadium again was sensations. It was the first time this season. First time that my phone. See, I've got a little tape on that. I've got the tape on the back, all over the little cameras and stuff. Don't want people watching. But today I managed to get to the stadium and the wallet didn't vanish just before I got in, like it did before the Arsenal game and like it did before one of the others. So we got in today after nearly 3 hours of traveling to watch that. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't okay with me. I'm sorry. No, like I say, not impressed with the effort. And it's effort, it's mentality, it's desire. That's the difference. You know, I was listening to Last Word on Spurs just before I came live, and geez, I love Ricky. Really good, becoming a really good friend. I've only known him a short time. He reached out to me, and I really like him. Really do. I love it. I like his takes. I like his opinions. I like nothing here. But you know how I'm happy to disagree. Well, I do disagree with him on this. He does like to, and a few of the other people on there, they like to sort of push this narrative of Daniel Levy doesn't open the checkbook enough. And I'm like, really? Are we still doing that? £400 million in 18 months, and we're still doing the over to Daniel Levy to write some more checks thing. Come on. The players are good enough. The money's been spent. It's over to the team to figure it out. The players, the mentality stems from the manager, the coaching staff. There was absolutely zero, the square root of zero in the way of sideline management from any of the coaches today. And if the manager's going to sit there like this and maybe have a minute of barking, a minute of having a crack, if he's going to have just a pop at someone for not doing something in isolation, where's the in-game? I don't know, motivation. Where's the in-game like razzmatazz, the mojo coming from? I don't think our coaches have got it in them. I don't think any of them have ever demonstrated any level of like ferocity. It's almost like they're afraid of. Maybe they don't feel like they command the respect to sit there and bark orders that, James Maddison or people. Maybe that's because a lot of them are about the same age. I don't know. Where did we get to? We've got another super chat coming in here. Nice one as well. Oh, Alan. Hi, Sean. We'd love to get on the show at some point. Mate, you can come on right now, bro. You can come on right now. First of all, thank you very much. Is the link not up? The link's right there, buddy. You can jump on right now, Alan, if you want to come on. But I don't even know if the link's showing. I think it is. It should be showing. Thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. You didn't need to do that. You can just, if I see I haven't even really got down to the comment sections. Let's get where I get to. But thank you very much for the super chat, Alan. You don't need to do that. I missed you today, Phil, as well, my man. I was just talking about you. Glad to see you. I hope I didn't say anything bad. I think you're someone that I love. I think your opinion on Daniel Levy is what it is. I don't agree. You don't agree with me. We had the ding dong before, but I respect the fact that it's a well thought through opinion. Even the people that I don't like in the community, we know who. Like, I think that those opinions are well thought through. So I understand and appreciate why they say what they do. I just don't like the fact that every time that they have the opportunity to bash the owner, which I'm sure they've done today or tonight, I just sit there and kind of go, I get it. Like, you got to run your thing and do your thing. Like, go for it. There's no not resentment is not even the right word. There's no lack of appreciation of the need to take advantage of the opportunity to push the narrative if the narrative is your thing. And on my channel, I don't have a narrative really. I'm just trying to seek out the balanced opinions. So that's why I want to open the doors. But you know what? No one wants to come on tonight. I mean, like, I'm surprised. I'm surprised after a night. There's 160 of you here. Surprised not one of you wants to come on and tell me, Sean, you're a fucking mug. And here's why. And as long as you've got the here's why, I'm willing to listen to it. If you're just going to come on and say you're a fucking mug, all right. Shoot your shot, bro. Shoot your shot. What have we got? I am so confused by how up and down you guys are. I think by that name, is it his name Brun Sauce, or is it like Brun S Australia? I don't know. I think Australia. I hope that Australia. I love Australians. I spent my happiest 3 years ever in my life, in 40 years. The happiest 3 years I've ever had were the day that I arrived in Australia. And looking back, probably the saddest was the day I left. I love Australians. I think Antipodeans have got a wonderful, wonderful approach to life. But I don't think any Australian that's watching this that has this sycophantic approach to Ange where he can't do any wrong. He's infallible. And, when we fuck up, when we screw up, you can't really have a crack without being accused of being negative. I don't think you would do that if your Aussie rules team had volatility or inconsistency. I don't think you would do that if your rugby league team was doing that, if you're from Sydney or from up the north. If you're in Melbourne, maybe you don't really care about rugby. But I don't think you would have the same approach to an analysis of other sports in your own hometown cricket teams. Australians have got tall poppy syndrome all over the place. I learned the phrase tall poppy syndrome from Australians. Who was it? Brett someone, cricket player, and Leighton Hewitt, tennis player, right? Came up, hit it hard, smashed it out of the park. Australians love a tall poppy, right? They chop them down. The second they get a little bit big for their boots with the ego and the arrogance, they chop them down, and then they want to see them crash, and then they want to see them build them back up again and come back for a second wave with a little bit more humility. Tall poppy syndrome is an Australian thing, and yet for some reason, some Australian fans, not all, again, I'm never doing a cast it wide net thing here, but some Australian fans, when it comes to Ange, there isn't the same balance and the same analysis. It's more of a kind of an infallibility that I just don't agree with. And I think that on this channel we like to ascribe guilt and credit where it's due. And look who's in the fucking house. We've got Alan Rakdos Madness. What's going on, Alan? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, you see what happens when you leave? I grew a beard in the time while you were gone.
Husky and adorable. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Yes.
You know that sort of shit with me. You know that. You know,
Oh, it's my pleasure. Look, for the rigmarole you probably went through, it's the least I could do. It's crazy.
Going through, man. Going through. It hasn't stopped. It's still going on, but we don't care.
Jesus.
We don't care. New Sean, we just don't care. We don't care. Yeah. What do you think about today, buddy? What do you think? Tell me. Talk to me.
Today, look, we have such a diminished squad. This was probably the closest to our strongest 11 that we could put out. I think it speaks more to our recruitment, the fact that we don't have, two people vying for the same role for each position who can kind of come in and swap around. We don't have that really. We have people unfortunately, like Archie Gray, who's very young, who can play a couple of different positions. We're doing it to Kulu. Kulu's also pretty young. Or is he only 24? He can play up front. He can kind of play in the midfield. I wouldn't be surprised at some point if we see him in the back. The way we kind of force players out of their comfort zone. Fulham was the better team the whole day.
Yeah.
I mean, really, for the most part, yeah, they were the better team.
But was that tactical, Alan? Was that? Did they outclass us tactically? They're not a better team. Their 11 is not better footballers than Tottenham's are. They've got better players in better position. You know what? Not really, actually. They don't. But they outplayed us, and I'm trying to figure out why. The blame has to land somewhere, and we can't be making excuses. You can explain it a little bit with injuries, but the Thursday Sunday thing, sorry, I'm not hearing it. Not hearing it. Chelsea don't moan about that stuff. No one else has that as an excuse. So what happened today, Alan?
Well, look, I mean, had Son in the first minute put away that goal instead of fumbling it, we would have won 2-1. I mean, it could have been just right there. We would have stolen the game, but we would have won. So we weren't as clinical in the front, and we allowed them to boss the midfield. I think that's pretty much where everything was won and lost today, was in the midfield. But I think Bissouma had a very poor showing. He, like Spurs, tend to be hot-cold. You never know what you're going to get when he starts, and I think today he didn't show up. I think that the people that did show up tried their best. Forster did the best he could. I think Dragishin and Ben Davies did the best they could. But Ben Davies, expecting the best out of Ben Davies is kind of unfair. He's kind of getting to that age, and his contract's almost up. Where you kind of hope that he still has the pride. And what's funny is he has the pride. He's someone that probably will move on to coaching jobs and stuff, but he has the pride where I didn't see a lot of Spurs pride in a lot of the play that we saw today.
Right.
There just wasn't. It was very lifeless.
I agree.
I think if we're going to have Son as captain, he needs to be more consistent. I've been kind of harping on Son for a while. What's going on?
Anthony, how you doing? Are you frozen? No, he's there.
Hold on, buddy. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. No, stay there, Anthony. Sorry, Alan. Carry on with your point, man, and we'll bring Anthony in a second.
Well, I was saying that with Son as captain, I've been harping about needing a captain because the argument that I've heard about not needing a captain is that, well, in this day and age, captains really are more of just a figurehead. They're really not necessary. But the way I view it is, it is necessary in our squad because we have such a young squad, and we have so many young players that need leadership and so that they know how to grow and progress. It's one thing if you're like in Liverpool's team. Yes, you have a captain because you have to have a captain, but that Liverpool team doesn't need what our youth and so many of our players need out of someone like Son. And Son today he crumpled right from the first whistle. He seemed like he was anonymous. And
he wasn't the only one in that front three, though, or that front four. I don't think Sonny. Personally, Alan, I think that Sonny's days as a 9 in this system. He's never going to be a 9 in this system that's going to work, because this system's 9 has to have the ability to hold the ball up. It has to be a guy that can, when necessary, unusual, but when necessary, be able to win at some aerial threats. Sonny's just not that guy. If he's going to be. Yeah. And I'm not someone who's buying into this, Sonny's on the decline thing, because against Manchester City, Sonny was fucking incredible, right? So I think that he needs to have his minutes managed, which we've been doing. So I'm okay with that. But I think playing him in the 9, okay, needs must, because there's no Dom and there's no Richie. But I just think that the system was shit. And if Decky was really exhausted, then fair enough. But maybe that's a Will Lancashire moment, Will Lancashire
absolutely
scores his debut goal out in Turkey, gets sent off an hour later. There's nobody in this planet that wants to put that right, or put anything right, more than he wants to put that right. I think he could have done like we could have done with his. He's a good player. He's a
great player,
really good player, right? I just think Sonny in the 9, and then Timo Werner on the left, and Brennan Johnson. All three of them are not known for their tracking back efforts. And against the Fulham, when you're going to get Pedro Porro overloaded or Destiny Udogie overloaded, I think that you need wingers who are going to get back. So to me, not having Sonny on the left and like, I just thought it was just a terribly stupid, naive tactics that, yes, can be explained somewhat by the effort, the tiredness of the twice a week thing, if that's okay. And also maybe because of the injuries. I get it to a degree, but also there were still options, man, and it just wasn't good enough for me, Alan,
Yeah, no. I hear you. Look, I'm not a huge proponent of the high line all the time. And, look, we scored on a counterattack. And that's how we beat City. That's how we beat Aston Villa. I mean, we're a counterattacking football team that's trying to play a different system. And it's not rocket science. You're right. And look, I think Ange got everything wrong today. I'm still much Ange in, but I don't want to see the process go through again. I don't want another 18 months of a rebuild again. So I'm Ange in. I just think he got it all wrong today. His subs, I think, were late. I would have subbed off Son a lot sooner. I probably would have put Will Lancashire in a lot sooner. I don't know that we needed Kulusevski even to come on the pitch. He's tired. The guy is a beast. He is a real baller, Kulusevski. And I think it's not in his best interest. And really looking out for him, we should be protecting him more. If he was tired, we should have just rested him. We had plenty of other people on the pitch that that could have come in. He could have put Bergvall in sooner. He could have put Gray in, but he waited till the 85th minute to start putting these subs in. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, listen, look, I'm glad there's a few people decided to come on and take the hockey from me, because it's been an hour, 40 minutes of me having, like I say, I'm going to build myself into this new version of Sean. I'm not going to be a complete donut and just come out and start. But there is a new version of Sean that's coming. I've got a lot I want to get off my chest going forward. Let me just get through a couple of super chats quickly, guys, and then I'm going to bring in Anthony and James. Welcome, James. I don't think James. I'm not sure if I've seen you before, my man, but it's nice to see you. You got a bit of that Grinch lightning flick on that hair going on. I like it a lot, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Thank you. Yeah.
We've also got the best looking man in YouTube. It's just this is Anthony. The guy is Anthony, right? The Levi's model from Levi's. Yeah, he is. Yeah. You look a little bit different, Anthony. You look like you're. You haven't got your pack out. The last time I saw you, I think you were gallivanting around with your underwear. I don't know what you were doing. It was good times. But then before you bring you in, let me just get to some super chats. Guys, let me know if my mic. Someone was saying my mic is quiet. I've just turned it up, but I don't know if it's now getting to the point of screeching.
No, it's
let
good.
me know. Brian Brown, thank you very much for the super chat, my man. He says, "What is your opinion on being 7th in the league in regards to salary versus the amount of money that we spend on transfers? We are 7th in the table. I hate losing, but we are what we are." Look, I think you can factor in. I think that salaries and transfer fees, it all comes down to cost of contract. I think that ultimately it doesn't matter whether if you get a transfer on a freebie, you're ending up paying that guy 70% of what he would have got if you 80% of what you would have got if you paid the club. It's just the money goes in a different direction. So I don't personally look at transfer spend and squad salary cap or percentage of revenue in isolation. I look at it as how much are we spending over the course of contracts over each player. And so I don't look at it that way, but I know that the way that the market will display the information will be, well, Tottenham paid 400 million quid for 8 months of Ange. That's a lot, but then we only do 48% of our revenue on salary, which is the lowest in the league. So you can cherry pick. If you want to be a Levy outer, you can pick that bit. If you want to be a Levy defender, you can pick that bit. I look at the overall cost of contract, and within that, we are 6th in the league, up there with everybody else that you would think we are. So there's not a lot of difference. Anthony, let's stay there, Anthony, 1 second. Actually, Anthony, I think someone was about to say what as well. So someone's got a take on this. Anthony, you got a take on this one, man?
Well, I mean, it was Scott M that actually turned me on to the fact that, and it sounds like an obvious one to most of you guys, but it actually wasn't. That whole stick which is used to beat us with, which is like, oh, Tottenham are the 3rd highest spending team in the world, or Tottenham spent a trillion pounds in the last 2 summers, and Tottenham they spend big. Blah blah blah, and then Scott M was like, yeah, we spend big, but we don't give big contracts. We spend big on people that'll make 120K a week and be fine with that, i.e. Richalison or someone like Brennan Johnson. So yes, we spend big, but that's only exactly as you said, to ape what you said, Sean. That's only to acquire a player that will be happy with less than 150K a week. That's why Paulo Dybala and Richarlison, someone might say, we could have gotten Dybala with the Richarlison money. No, we couldn't have, because we wouldn't have paid his wages. It's not about, I thought that way too. I was just like, wait, what does A cost and what does B cost? And if A and B cost the same thing and everyone knows B is better, then you take B and not A, right? And then it turns out no, because A is cheaper. There's a thing called salary, and it's funny to me how sometimes the most obvious things in the world aren't I was like, oh, that's right. I didn't even I forgot salary, because I was like, oh, salary schmallery. Who cares if the guy makes 10 grand less than whatever his the guy to his left or something. And other people were like, no, you don't get it. We have a wage structure. Sun is at the top. They have to rejigger it. So to a degree,
Anthony. I mean, I know you probably picked that Paulo Dybala thing. Maybe that's a pluck out of thin air as an example, but that guy only earns 80 grand a week. So.
Yeah, no, sorry. I meant that, or an Osherman or whatever. Just to one.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But then, everyone's got their own cross to bear. Like Liverpool, it's interesting, right? So Liverpool are a team that have an traditionally incredibly tight weekly salary cap, but so there's this narrative that when you do very well, if you go deep in the Champions League, for example, that you're going to outperform your salary expectations, and that's the benefit of going deep. Liverpool are a team that traditionally, I'm not sure of the current setup, but the traditional setup with Liverpool is that the further they go in the Champions League, the less money they make, because every round that they go deeper in the Champions League, they pay out significant bonuses. So players like Mo Salah maybe not him, players like, I don't know,
Darwin Nunez.
Any of them, 70% of their squad earn less money than the average Tottenham player. But if they do well in the Champions League, they're going to end up with monster bonuses.
Really?
And so the deeper they go, the less profitability they are on a margin basis. It's a fascinating thing. That's not the same for every club, of course, but
gotcha.
I'll take the point that the Tottenhams for sure have steered clear of doing what maybe Manchester United are a typical example of players that a team that can happily pay. But then you get stuck with like lumps in your squad, like Marcus Rashford, that get paid 350 grand a week and aren't worth a fraction of that. And they're on 7-5-year contracts, and you can't move them on because no one's going to take that shit. No one's going to pay him. He doesn't have any obligation to leave. We learned the lesson with Tanguy and Ndombele, right? 200 grand a week, and you couldn't pay for him to go. So, there's ups and downs. There's twos and fro's with every argument,
No, you're completely correct. I guess, I mean, what I really, I'll tell you something. This season really scares me, and I've been a hardcore Spurs fan for over 20 years. And I've seen, some really, really low points, and I've never felt so unsettled. And I think we have a very mediocre team. I think we're threadbare in terms of who we can turn to change a game. And I'm very nervous. I'm nervous because I respect anyone that's Anjin. I don't disrespect anyone that doesn't want to see our manager fired. I really, truly don't. I personally would like him gone yesterday. But however, and I want to caveat this.
Oh, really? You're Ange out. You're fully Ange out.
Oh, you're Ange out.
Oh, well, 100%. But like without even,
let's dig into that. What's the
rationale? I don't like him. I don't like the way he's inconsistent in terms of the messages that he sends. The fact that he 1 minute is sort of freezing out a player, and then the next minute he has the guy who's the right back that we had acquired that we sent off to a bunch of different countries.
Jed Spence.
Yeah, Jed Spence. Sorry, I wasn't gonna come up with that in a million years. Just the fact that just how he is with players, I don't think his player management is that great. I don't think he's improved many players. I didn't say he's not improved anyone. I said I don't think he's improved a lot of players. And the worst thing is that I just don't. I feel like he's out of his depth, and I feel like he takes that insecurity with him out on reporters. I think he's kind of a dick to reporters. Whenever I see him, he's very short.
I don't disagree with that, Anthony. I'm not a fan of his press.
I think your press conferences they're very representative of your club. It's kind of like say you had two really great children, and they were really good kids, but every time you took them out, they swore a bunch and threw things and spilled things and picked fights with other kids, and you're like, no, they're really great kids. You don't understand. When they're home, they're wonderful. They do their homework.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what people see is that. And so for me, what Ange is when he's like that, that's not insignificant. That reflects on the entire club, and it makes his press conferences frankly painful, because you never know when daddy's going to snap. You never know when daddy's going to
I like that.
True.
You don't know when you're going to get that belt or that backhand across your face because you said something wrong. And I like it, maybe I have PTSD from getting my own beatings as a kid, but whenever I see him get that little smirk and look down and then look up, I just feel like, uh-oh, here it comes. You better put those books down your bottom of your pants because you're going to get a whooping. And he's done that with a female reporter a few times. And he just is, he's very unfriendly and a real deep kind of not funny, haha, cute. It's one thing if you do that every fifth press conference, you drop in a zinger. That's fine. Potts used to do stuff like that, and even Martin Yole would do that. But he's kind of like that. He's kind of acerbic whether we win or lose. He's better when we win, but when we lose, God help you. And so I don't feel comfortable with him managing our club. I don't trust him managing our club. And I would rather Marco Silva was our manager and he was theirs, to be honest. And that's not saying a lot, because I don't have deep time for Marco Silva. I just want a normal manager that has a way with people and that can, really get us punching above our weight and not below it, in my opinion.
Listen, Anthony, I don't disagree at all, my man. I'm going to bring in James here. James, welcome to the show, buddy. Have we met before? I'm not sure. Have we met before?
No, we haven't. No.
Okay, well, welcome to the channel.
Can I just say for one thing, I'm a big fan of the channel. I absolutely love it. It's something different. I watch it always when I'm when I'm going to work on the train, so I'm always like, I'm on my phone watching this channel. I absolutely love it.
I appreciate the feedback, man.
why.
Thank you very much. Thank you, James. Yeah, nice, man. I'm glad. Listen, we try to you know.
Do you still do the White Scout tool? Do you still do that or not really?
This season, man, I haven't. I think my all of my subscriptions, I had to just spend $750 or whatever to get my StreamYard thing back up. So
Right.
like all of my my credit cards have been copied and money spent and like all sorts of shit. So it's all lapsed.
Okay.
But listen, man,
Right.
it's like couldn't give a fuck anymore. I'm going to be going straight back on it. The Y Scouts the next thing on my to repurchase list, and then I'm going to be boring the life out of all of you with. Hey, listen, have you heard about this 14-year-old from like the Democratic Republic of Congo?
I remember.
Let's look at it.
I call them the gift Orban days. The gift Orban days. You were on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I was on the gift Orban. You know who
Sean,
else I was on though? Yes, I might have got that one. I don't know if I got it wrong.
No, it's fine. It's fine. The point is you're going out on a limb. It's not everyone that takes chances is going to be wrong. The point is you talked about him. You talked about Manuel Ugarte. You talked about all these guys that always end up on Man U. And
yeah, listen. I think Goikarez was was the one.
Yeah, you're big on him.
Yeah.
You're the
That
first
guy was going to be
on all of our radar. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the one that got away, right? There's plenty of ones
Right.
that get away in my life. I'm 40 years old. I've never had a girlfriend that's hung around longer than like a few months. So there's plenty of gots away. And the Y Scout, if the Y Scout tool was blended with Tinder, then I might have a better chance with a happy like. But it's James Madison.
That might be a good business opportunity.
You know what? Data analytics of Hinge. There's the next thing in my life. There's the next.
Why date? Why date? Explain why and stuff.
Love that. Why date? The why date tool. James, man, let's listen. Put aside the credit, man. I appreciate you, buddy. What were your thoughts on today? How are you feeling about Ange Ball? I mean, look, Anthony just dropped some truth bombs there. He's not a fan of Ange's press conference. I'm not Ange out. I love Ange. I want him to succeed. I'm on board for the journey because I love the football generally. I didn't like it today, but I love it. So I disagree with Anthony, but I don't disagree with the reasons why he doesn't like Ange. Where do you sit, man? Where do you sit?
I'm just absolutely drained of it. Like every season, it's just the same thing. Like last season was the same thing. This season is the same. I'm just drained, mate. I really am. I agree on Anthony's point. I'm sick of the press conferences. Like the Roma game when he goes, it's just entertainment. Whoa, no, mate, we're just going to be entertained. That really annoyed me. Like that got under my skin. That really, well, why are you saying that? Like, oh yeah, it's not about the results. No, it's just about entertaining. As long as we can entertain and edgy stuff, then that's fine. But that really annoyed me. It's just certain stuff that really annoys me with him. Like he goes, I think he went on a podcast and went, if I could play with 11 strikers, I would do that, mate, and stuff like that. It's I could play with 11. It's just certain stuff like that. That he says that are annoying. On today's game, I thought we were very poor, lackluster. Didn't like the lineup. I thought I would have put Kulusevski instead of Brennan. Yeah, it's just like so poor. I think Fulham should have won. And like, you were at the game, weren't you, Sean?
I was at the game. I've also just changed my. Can I just double quick check? I've just realised that my mic the entire time's been through my laptop, not through the thing that's sitting here. Is that better now, or is it too noisy now? What have I done? Have I checked?
It's good. It's solid.
It's good.
Okay.
You were at the game. Yeah.
I was at the game, but like I say, man, it was. You get.
What was the atmosphere like?
Shocking.
Yeah,
And that's something else. It was absolutely atrocious. There was no noise. No, Fulham barely sang, and Tottenham barely sang. It was like watching. It was like the Highbury library days. Like it was really bad today. And I don't know why the loudest we were was at the final whistle when there was boos all around the stadium. Against Fulham. We didn't lose. The boos tell a story, man. The boos tell a story. The fans are not okay with. Like I say, just quickly, James. I'm just harking back a little bit on Anthony's point there, and then I'm going to bring you have your say, and I'm going to bring Alan back round because I do want to dial in a little bit on Ange's his pressers, not the overarching thing like his general theme, but specifically of late, it comes across to me like as I said in the monologue thing at the start, I feel like you know more from body language. If like me with my work, my experience, where I've done and traveled and what I've done. I've interviewed, hired, fired, sold to, trained thousands and thousands of people, and I have to be able to pick up clues on people's body language and in their personality in like 5 or 6 minutes. And I'm pretty good at it. I think I'm pretty good at figuring people out. I think that Ange is not being honest when he says the things that he does. I think that you can see more, learn more from the energy in the press conferences than he's letting on. And I think that the kind of, we deserved the point. It was a tough game, but I want to give credit to the players for the I'm sorry that I think you're placating an invisible audience. I don't get it. I agree. Your energy tells its own story, and the energy is here at the moment.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, I think and always puts his hands in his pockets and says we haven't got to finish off. But you bought these players. This is the problem. If you would have bought the players properly, like what Brighton do, because I live near the Brighton ground, so I go and see Brighton quite a bit. But they've got a fantastic manager, fantastic set of players. Yes, they spent £200 million, but they spent it on the right amount of players, the quality of players, building it over time. Like Chao Pedro, Runter from the guy they got from Leeds. I'll take him in a heartbeat at Spurs. They just buy simple, good players. They've got a proper system with that Paul Barber, who Tony Bloom, Paul Barber. That guy is really clever. If you won't watch the high performance, but the high performance one with the guy who used to be on BT Sport. I don't know what his name is, but you could see he knows what he's doing. Even after they got rid of Graham Potter, they have a plan for players.
They have Star Lizard, they have Star Lizard that's backing up their decisions, right? And then Brentford have got their own vision of Star Lizard, which I think is called Bet Boy Pro or something. It's basically the same model. It's they're data analysts that turn betting syndicates into data analysis. For Tottenham haven't got that. Tottenham should have invested in that. If they were to take £10 million and buy a fledgling company that has betting data and analytics, they could be able to do something akin to what Bloom does and what Blenheim does at Brentford. But for some reason we haven't, and it's it's problematic for me. But yeah, I hear you, James.
Yeah, it's just like we can buy good players. We have the system to do it. Brighton could do it. We can do it. We're Tottenham Hotspur. We're not some club that sits on the. Brighton were in the Championship a couple of seasons ago. As soon as when we live now, we came back from we come from London, but yeah, Brighton were in the Championship. I remember it, and now they're a really good club. But Ange's just like, I'm done with him. I'm fed up. I'll sack him today.
You're Ange out.
Yeah,
Anthony's
put it away. I'd go and bring Potter in today. That's how I'd go and bring him to steady the ship. I like him.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Listen. So, I'm listening to it. Alan, bring me back, man. Am I in a pool of one here? I mean, listen, I respect people's opinions. Everyone's got their right. Like the Levy outers, the Ange outers, the Levy inners, the Ange inners, whatever. The spectrum, the broad spectrum. I had it. I'm over here. Someone else is here. It's all chop and change to me. Alan, are you on the same vibe with Anthony and James that Ange's time is up? Like, I mean, I can't believe that these guys want to already throw out 18 months and start again. But
no, I don't think Ange is on his way out. Look, let's remember when we were in the market for a manager. We wanted Arne Slot, we wanted other managers, and it took a long time till we found Ange. Ange wasn't even on my list. I didn't even know Ange. I don't know many people that did know Ange. When we first mentioned, like, who is this guy?
Yeah, I wasn't that familiar. Obviously, I knew about the Celtic thing, but I didn't know anything about his football. Really, I didn't, who.
Yeah. And so I just don't want to go back in the market again, because any manager that will come in is going to recycle the same process we've been dealing with over and over again between Jose and Conte and everything else. So I don't think that's going to solve anything. I think the problems are higher up. I think the problem is
Levy.
It starts with It starts with Levy, but I don't know that I don't think it's a. When I look at it again, it kind of is an American, and I think of team owners. I kind of look at them a little differently. See, the way I see Levy, he's just a business guy. He's a numbers guy and he's a business guy, and he's in the business of making money. And for 20 some odd years, he's found a way to make money without success from the men's first team. And I think that's caused him to. There's a rift, I think, because had he been making money, investing into the first team and constantly getting the best players, doing the best he could, then everyone would love Levy. But we didn't have any success on the pitch. Not really. We haven't won much. So
yeah, but how much of that? Let's just go there for a minute then. Let's do it. Let's just have a little chant. Let's have a little chin wag, because I think I didn't know your take on the owners. I think Anthony. I think you're at least where I first saw you was on Tottenham away, so you probably subscribe or ascribe quite a lot of responsibility towards Levy, because that's a channel that leans that direction. Obviously, my man, believe me, I don't obviously know where you sit on on that particular fence, but my question is always this when it comes to Levy, right? I hear you. I hear everyone who wants to, the common denominator, 25 years, lack of success. And if you watch the show, if you watch me do the walks, I'll always acknowledge that. I hear it. I'm just like, common denominators do not equate to reasons, right? They are considerations, but not facts. It's causation, correlation. It's that kind of ongoing debate. I'd also argue that if that's the problem, if he's the problem, what's the solution? And I don't think that just saying Levy out, that's not a solution. The solution is who is coming in and what do you expect to change? And when people say ambition, I think that's just a waffle. It's a word salad, nonsense narrative that is like, it's an intangible ambition. Oh, I'm ambitious. Brilliant. What does that mean? What does that look like? How does the rubber meet the road when it comes to a new owner? And if it comes down to spending more money, well, look, in news for you, 400 million in 18 months, there's not that much more we can do unless you want to front load the risk like Todd Boehly did. And Todd Boehly's on borrowed time with regards to that. I know he's found wiggle room and loopholes, and Chelsea are masters of finding the ability to write off a debt and sell a asset here, there, and everywhere. And the FFP thing didn't materialize like we thought it did, and so be it. Whatever. I'm like, what is it that you think changes? And if you have an answer and it happens to look like ambition, then at least tell me what that looks like, and at least tell me who is the candidate that you would think would deliver whatever ambition, your version of ambition looks like. And I'll open the floor to any of the three of you, and the guys in the comments, let me know. I'm not against the new owner, and I'm always open to anything. I'm open-minded. I'm just like, who and why and how and what does that look like?
Amanda Stacey.
Go ahead.
Amanda
Staveley. Yeah. Amanda Staveley. Oh no, it's
I'll tell you the reason why. I'm not. I don't want to. Because when she first went into Newcastle, they changed the coach. They got a couple of top players in. With Levy, and I am Levy out, by the way. I'm just not going to say that.
It's okay, you can say it. No, you wear it. Own it. It's fine. It's fine.
When we had Pochettino, right, we were this close. This little close from winning the Premiership twice. All right. Go and get some top players. During that, when we finished second on 86 points, that Conte Chelsea won the league. Right, Pochettino wanted Mane and Wijnaldum. He got someone else. He got Vincent Janssen. We were so close from winning the league. But look at what Arsenal did when they got to the top. They went right. Mikel Arteta, right, £100 million Declan Rice, game changer. Look what I know they're not winning anything, but they're showing success by buying a game changer. I'm not saying about buying money. I'm just being smart with your signings. Not all these young kids. You need to buy established players. I don't think Levy quite understands that. If you get what I mean, I'm just putting it out there.
Listen, I would argue 100% acknowledge that Daniel Levy, whilst he may have taken his foot off the gas when it comes to direct overarching control of certain things, I think he still is very much in control of the narrative of the profile of player that we're looking for. He's obviously suggested, he's definitely directing people towards youth and resell on and all that stuff, because that's part of his own. I get it, totally get it. But I'll let Anthony Ryan come in. Whoever wants to come in. Oh,
yeah,
sorry, James,
I'm not
finished. Carry on, mate. Yeah, go on.
go ahead. Are you? I don't want to talk over you, dude. I'm not Levy out. But I have my own personal beliefs about where Levy is taking the team and why it won't matter if Levy is there or not. Again, it's all because Levy had to make money even with the lack of success, which is something I would say most people wouldn't be able to do, right? The owners that if you have a team that never wins anything, yet you're still turning a profit and you're still building a $1 billion stadium and you're doing the hotels and all that stuff, you're finding other avenues for financial gain. And I think with Levy, personally, I think Levy will establish the first NFL team in London.
I agree.
And he will have a whole new pool of fans, a bunch of Americans who know nothing about Levy's, English football. They'll just know he's established an American football team, and they'll love him because Americans, we don't really think of the owners the same way. Like, I mean, not really. Sometimes you can, I guess, if you have like a Jerry Jones, that become kind of polarizing, or some other owners. But generally speaking, I don't know that we always concentrate on the owners. We usually go after the coaches and the players.
Right.
But
that's why that's where I spend most of my time, because they're the guys that are directly impactful for things that you see on the pitch. Like that's why I said earlier, like I just don't. This narrative of we drop points against Fulham. Listen, it was a shit performance. It was fucking horrendous. It was awful.
But I don't blame that on Levy, though. I don't blame it on Levy. It's not his fault.
There is a massive swath of the Levy out guy, that group of people who take any opportunity to bash, and that's fine. But when they say things like, the managers change, the players change, but the same consistent thing is the owner, it's the underlying common denominator. I'm like, so what? So is the fact that we play on grass. So is the fact that we breathe air. So is the fact that we drink. We all drink Lucozade. Right. Like, how many other common denominators do you want to consider? Let's park all that shit because we're being ridiculous. But let's also factor in the other variables that are also consistent, like money in football, like Chelsea, like Abramovich started the whole thing, and then the rules came in and tried to close after tried to close the gate after the horse bolted. Manchester City came in. What's happened to Manchester City right now? Are they going through what they're going through because they know that there's bad news on the horizon? Even if so, is that bad news going to help Tottenham? Probably not.
No.
It's going to do is reset them out of the way. But you know what? Like the damage was done 15 years ago, and I don't think Daniel Levy's to blame for trying to stick to within a framework of rules that didn't actually have any teeth. Like, you can't blame the guy for sticking to it's like saying you're late to get to the football match because you only went 70 miles an hour on the motorway, as is the law, and you could have gone 140 like that guy who did it in a Ferrari, but guess what? There wasn't a speed camera, or the police didn't pull him over. Like, are we really doing that? And
to be fair, Spurs was successful without Daniel Levy, though. This is the problem. Because the Spurs won the UEFA Cup in 98-4, and then in 91 they won the FA Cup.
Sorry, James. The different world, different timeline.
Yeah,
different
I know. I agree with you.
They're massively. That's like saying we're talking Back to the Future, bro. Like, you pivot off on that one versus this one. There's a whole different set of variables. Anthony, let me bring you in, man. Like, I know you're Levy out like James is. What's your take on the whole thing, my man?
Well, first off, let me say that one of the most important things to realize about football is that football is not banking. It's not an airline. It's not building, real estate. It's an irrational love for an entity. It's not built in rationality, just like someone's love for their wife or someone's, someone's relationships. It's built on emotion. Levy has never had any kind of rapport with the fans, and I've never felt so disconnected from a team than I have with Spurs. In fact, if it wasn't for my fellow Spurs fans, my best mate, the guy best man at my wedding, is Arsenal. And he's the one that got me into English football over 20 years ago. And I actually talk with him and get more conversation, more feeling about my club from him than I do from Levy. I think that Levy is the only guy in the history of the game, in the modern game, to try to make a profit, not by on-field success, but by not by building your brand through being good on the pitch, but actually by doing business deals that therefore build your brand on the back end. In other words, we get named, people know us because the Jacksonville Jaguars play a few games at our stadium, or we we built the first a go-kart track for F1 under our stadium, and all this kind of nonsense. And I really feel I feel like Levy is just an absolutely disgusting owner in the way, hear me out, in the way that he doesn't have any kind of connection to the fans, and he doesn't even he looks upon the fans with contempt. When and we take it, we really have Stockholm syndrome. As I've said many a time, one of the worst parts about Spurs are lapdog fans that just take anything and everything and just have no problem. We're like a dog that constantly gets beaten by our owner, but still comes back and nuzzles our owner and wants to play and is ready to fetch a ball. And maybe our owner.
I gotta challenge this one. Sorry, Anthony. Let me ask you, man. When was the last time? When was the last time you mentioned Arsenal? Your mate's an Arsenal fan, yeah. Mm-hmm. When was the last time Stan Kroenke came out?
His son got sent to his son. The Kroenkes took when Arsenal got bad for them was a few fifth place finishes under Unai Emery. Their fans became so violent and so hot headed, and there was so many problems outside the stadium.
Arsenal fans.
Yeah, Stan Kroenke sent his son to talk to the fans and to find out what they really wanted. And
that happened in a beer garden. Like that was a televised press like that. If we're talking about the same thing, which I think we are, maybe I'm wrong, but what I think we're talking about, the guy came out and sat down with 12, 15 hand-picked people and had a microphone and spoke. Stan Kroenke is there's no difference. Let's look at, I don't know, Mike Ashley at Newcastle, right? He tried to stand with the Newcastle fans. How did that work out? I mean, Aston Villa's new owners, right? Like Egyptians backed by private equity, spending a lot of money. I mean, as someone was saying tonight, people are up in the Newcastle fans and the Aston Villa fans are up in arms about their start to the season. I think that this narrative that Daniel Levy is, I'm not defending him. And by the way, Perchy, welcome to the show and welcome back to the channel, my man. It's great to fucking see you, bro. It's been a long time, my man. I can't wait to get you in. Let me just finish.
You do your thing, my brother.
Yeah, we'll bring you in a second. I just think that we're looking through the life of a Tottenham fan into a fishbowl, a goldfish bowl, right? We look at Daniel Levy and assume that he's a dick because he's profit first. And by the way, every single person that is running a football club, with the exception, the notable exceptions of people that have got more money in the ground than they have in the entire existence of the world's economy, who have a different metric, a different measurement, a different aim and ambition, whether that's money laundering, whether that's sports washing, whether that's cleansing a brand that needs to be moving in a different direction. And there's plenty of those. And we could talk about that for hours if you want to. But the vast majority of owners are doing it to make money. Like you look at the Brighton, Brentford, those guys, they happen to be very good at data analysis, and they're all businessmen, and none of them, there's not a businessman alive who is investing in football with the intention to lose money so that fans, like however many are in this chat and however many elsewhere, can be satisfied that someone's come in to save the day and deliver a trophy. That is not their ambition. Their ambition is primarily to take advantage of the fact of the loyalty of fans, with the notable exception of sheikhs and, sand dune owners and oil merchants and oligarchs back in the day when Russian money was fine. It's not fine anymore, but it was fine not that long ago. Like those guys have got their own intentions to wash money and do different things. But the vast majority of football owners, not just in the Premier League, but anywhere in the world, they're not here to make you happy ahead of making themselves rich. And football has a unique customer base. Like you say, Anthony, the beaten dog analogy, I take your point. We come back because we love it. There's a reason why sports ownership is so lucrative. It's because loyalty is a given. And that is not unique to Daniel Levy.
But let me say this. When you rock up to the Emirates, you can tell that there's a football club there because there are statues, there are plaques. Like you really feel like the stadium belongs to Arsenal first, and then whatever, if they played an Olympic, whatever soccer match there, that is secondary to the fact that they've paid homage to their club. When you go to the Tottenham Hotspur,
that's the stick. That's the stick, is it, Anthony?
There's literally
we haven't got a Harry. We got a Harry Kane mural. We had a Ledley King mural.
No,
we don't have a statue.
No, we don't have a Steve Perryman mural or a Bill Nicholson mural. I mean, we have nothing. We don't have. It's not just Harry Kane. It's the fact that Tottenham has become so corporatized that to me the football team is in a backseat to all of the other, the luxury brands that we, sign with some, Piaget watch or with some new.
Why
AI.
does that bother you? What's that? That's a corporate business that happens to have a stock market. You have to announce those things. You have to announce those things.
We were told that we were going to use the money from the stadium to spend on players.
We have.
We are the only club in the history. Well, like I said, players that are accepting of 100.
No, hold up.
Brennan Johnson.
The 5 years. Sorry, I hear this all the fucking time. It's so I don't know where this nonsense comes from. The 5 years from 2015 until 2020, we spent on average 20 to 30 million pound a year on players,
including the two windows.
5 years. Sorry?
Including the two windows that we were the first team in the history of the Premier League.
Irrelevant. You can add that, bake that. It doesn't change it materially to the fact that in the 5 years since, we spent 5 times that amount of money. So this narrative, we were promised that there was going to be a game changer. It fucking has been. It has been. We spend £150 million a year, £400 million in the last 18 months under Ange. People going, that doesn't count because we haven't won anything. So they've got to move the needle. Oh, actually, I'm gonna blase over the top and go, no, we were promised game changers. The difference being that £40 million doesn't. 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, £40 million bought you a top 50 player in the world. Nowadays, £40 million buys you a championship-proven 18-year-old. So that's not Daniel Levy's fault. That's called inflation. That's called Manchester City and Chelsea. Sorry, mate, go on.
Just out of curiosity, the window that we just had, do you find Archie Gray and Dominic Solanke to be game changers, the kind of people that move the needle? When we got them, did you think, wow, we're going?
I'm saying £67 million. You have to sort of dance with the devil and go. I mean, what is it that you want? Tottenham can't. I said this. I
want Eberechi Eze. That's what I wanted.
But that's not that's a. Where do you spend the money that you have to spend? We went Everett. You want Eberechi Eze. Ange Postecoglou didn't. Daniel Levy didn't. Whatever, right? But that's not a case of. That's just a case of disagreeing on what's needed in the team, and you're entitled to your opinion. But the club thought that Dominic Solanke was more necessary at the time, and there was the considerations of the English homegrown thing and the Harry Kane absence. And what do you do? There's the conversation there is about you disagree with the club on the direction of travel of the transfer, but you don't that's not a Daniel Levy should have had the money to both. £400 million in 18 months. What is it that? I don't know. Listen, let me, Anthony, say your last piece on it. You can disagree. I'll give you the last word, and then I'm going to bring in the other guys. And Perchy, I'm going to welcome you in as well. And I want you to come in and tell me where you feel on Ange, because I haven't spoke to you for fucking ages.
I totally get it. What you're saying is that I'm moving the goalpost from how much we spent to who we spent it on, which I completely get. Number one, I'm going to say this. I don't think that who we spent it on is completely removed from how much we spent. I think that buying players like a Dominic Solanke, we never buy this kind of player. What profile do I want? A player that's an instant game changer that is going to 9 times out of 10 be a real winner. I'll give you an example of one that we bought in a junior way. Madison. James Madison, you get excited about. You knew that when you dropped him in, he was going to be a guy that was going to change the team. And if he's played correctly, which I don't think he has been, but I think if he is played as a number 10, he has that potential. None of these other players, it's like Danny Rose said, they're players that you have to Google. Dominic Solanke would not have been anyone's first choice as a striker, nor would they have been anyone's fifth choice as a striker. So to me, I don't think it's completely apples and oranges where you're talking about first money spent, then which player did you spend the money on. I think Tottenham has a certain profile of player, and I don't know why that profile of player has to be these underachieving punts on these nice guys that don't really end up doing anything. Either they are horribly one-dimensional like a Brennan Johnson, or they're just very kind of meh like a Dominic Solanke, who, everyone keeps telling me how great this guy is and how hard he works off the ball. He's a striker. Strikers score goals. He's not scoring goals. So to me, you bring in a player that like a Declan Rice, like when Arsenal got Declan Rice, your mother and everybody else knew that guy was going to help shore up their one huge need, which was this open hole at the 6th spot. Tottenham never say, okay, we've got this major gap, in this case striker, we're going to fill it with a guy who's going to be a Victor Osimhen, some guy who's going to be at least, nobody's guaranteed. He could come in and score 0 goals. I get that. But at least it has the appearance of like, this guy's done it. He's done it in the Champions League. He's done it for major clubs. So I think that the way that Tottenham spends their money, their 400 million pounds or, whatever this astronomical figure that they've allegedly spent, who do we have for that? What player on our our team?
That is that's 100% a reasonable argument. Let's identify, analyze, and decide where we land on the value for money. 100%. But then that's not the same argument as, which you seem like you were conflating the two, as we were promised big things from the stadium that didn't materialize. The money did materialize. It has materialized, and it will continue to materialize after the debt gets paid down. And also, for what it's worth, there's another stick that is thrown and bashed Daniel Levy with. You're raping. Sorry to say that. I've just demonetized myself immediately. Well done, Sean. Fucking brilliant. You're taking advantage of the fan base by raising the ticket prices. Yet he's the number one chairman for bringing in revenue to his football club from sources outside of the fan base. There's not another chairman in the Premier League that draws more money into the club from sources that are not Tottenham Hotspur fans or not the fans of the club. And so is he given that credit? Of course he isn't. Of course he isn't, because there's an agenda at play. And that's also fine. Like I say, each to their own. But on this channel, you're going to hear that fact because it's a fact and it should be baked into your own opinion. I'm not trying to change your opinion, not yours, Anthony, not anyone that's watching, no one in the panel here either. I'm never trying to shape your opinion or change your opinion. I'm just trying to throw out things that you won't hear when you're looking for echo chambers that already have established their own take and you happen to fall into that bucket. And it's fine if you feel that way. But if you want a well-rounded opinion, you should be aware of the other considerations. And like I say, Daniel Levy is the only chairman in the Premier League that diversifies the sources of revenue outside of Tottenham Hotspur fans. And yes, maybe he spends it wrong. Maybe he doesn't finds value for money. Maybe he's terrible at negotiations and he's got this narrative of being the fucking big tough negotiator. I don't buy that. I think that he is a terrible negotiator, because if your line of negotiation is, here's the line in the sand, this is my number, fuck you, pay me or else. I think that's a shit way of negotiating, and I'm not a fan of him. I don't like Daniel Levy, and I don't like that version of negotiation. But, and you can bash him or disagree or agree with me on that one, but the idea that he takes advantage of fans more than other chairmen, well, have you considered the fact that he's the number one chairman for diversifying sources? I don't think you have. Let me bring in. Go on, Nancy. Yeah,
just one quick one, and I mean this with all this is respectful. I'm not being like sarcastic or trying to bait you. Do you feel connected with the club, or have you felt more and more of a disconnect? This kind of like, hard to put your finger on it, but somehow the club is moving away from the club that you supported 10 years ago and has become a different colder, more just more ice in their veins, like less attractive, less. Less.
I hear you. I know what you're saying. I get it.
It's hard for me to put it into words, but
no, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Like the cold corporatocracy of it. I get it. I totally get it. And look, I think that there's first and foremost, that's a personal thing. You have to come to your own determination on that. Look, I'm someone that flies solo in life. I don't have anyone really close to me. I've got my mom and my dad and my brother, but my brother lives 8,000 miles away. My dad lives, I don't have girlfriend, family, kids, wife. So I'm happy to fly. I've lived on 4 different continents. I'm someone who flies solo. I don't need to feel connected to things to have my own relationship with them, but that's just me. And in terms of like the shift away from White Hart Lane to a stadium that's a little bit bigger, you're a little bit further back from the stadium. Like, if I'm entirely honest, I contrast that relationship, and maybe I'm unique in that I've started my Spurs talk show, and I go to the stadium now, and strangers come up to me and say, "Hey, man, lovely to see you. Great." I feel more connected to Tottenham now than ever, but that's a unique thing because of my relationship with the guys in this channel. So, but it's personal to me. But I understand why people would say, yeah, the shift towards corporatocracy is obviously a dilution of intimacy. But I think that happens to any club. I reckon if you were to ask Arsenal fans who loved Highbury, what was it like moving to the Emirates? And it took them 8 years to get success, by the way. And they were coming off the back of Arsene Wenger's incredible success. I think they would probably say the same thing. I think that's a personal thing that you have to figure out for yourself. And me personally, the answer is no, but I can understand why anyone would say yes, Anthony. I can. Let me bring Perchy in, boys. Perchy, Perchometer. My man, I haven't seen you for a long fucking time, bro, and I miss you. I'm so glad you're back. I spoke to Sava. He told me you're back. I love it. First and foremost, let me know how you're doing. And secondly, you can take this wherever the fuck you want. Where do you want to go? Levy? You want to go Tottenham? You want to go Fulham? Where do you want to go? And then I'm going to let the boys come in and I've been talking too much.
No, that's fine. Like, I just thought I'd give my 50 pence in because I think that's probably all that matters. But look, I'm back. I've changed. All my content is all changed now. We're moving over, taking over the Football Manager space because it's a bit of fun.
Oh, you're Football Manager guy. Okay.
Go check out Perchy to Glory, man. Perchy to Glory is going well. It's just back to having a bit more fun, right? YouTube's meant to be a way for us all to express how we feel. And look, the result today, it was awful. We were poor. We were absolutely atrocious. We were poor in every part of the game. Didn't deserve anything. Look. I'll say what frustrates me. Guys can chime in whenever you want. I don't care. Like, it's absolutely fine, right? But for me, I think this always drops down to Daniel Levy when we lose or have a bad game. I think we've got to be really balanced with it all. Sean, full damn well, I want change of ownership at this football club. I'm not afraid to admit it. I say it how it is. However, what I am also not is I'm not blinded by that is the narrative whenever something goes wrong at the football club. For me, it's a multitude of problems we have at this football club, and it's very systematic in the sense when it goes wrong, it's Daniel Levy's fault. Hang on a minute. Daniel Levy weren't the reason we didn't win today. Let's be fair. Daniel Levy wasn't the reason. The squad that we had out there, minus one player, battered Man City a week ago. So when we go, the squad's not great. Well, hang on a minute. We big up then. But a week ago, we were talking about how great that team was. What was the only difference in that team? The only difference from last week was Dominic Solanke not playing. Are we now saying that Dominic Solanke is the reason why we didn't beat Fulham? I don't think Solanke's been absolutely outstanding this season. There's been good moments. I think he's really underwhelmed in the sense of goal scoring side of things. So I think it's it's a very easy narrative to throw out. Daniel Levy is the reason, all things are bad at this football club. For me, accountability on players, accountability on the manager. I think we lose so much accountability on this manager. I think that there is this narrative at the moment that Ange is some sort of godlike species that he can't be criticised. I thought some of his decisions today were absolutely atrocious. I mean, look at what Marco Silva did as soon as that red card came out. He grabbed him. The team with 10 men today away from home look more likely to win the game after going down to 10 men. So I think it's a multitude. The whole systematic part of Tottenham Hotspur about the way that we've changed. Look, I don't like it. I've lost a lot of, in the sense of feeling for the club. I've lost a lot of that sort of level of feeling for it. I don't resonate with the football club in that sense anymore. I still support Tottenham and all that lot, and I don't I don't go anymore. I don't go to the stadium but for me, saying Levy out is the same argument for me as saying Ange out. I'm not going to say it because it makes no difference. Whatever my opinion on Daniel Levy, Ange Postecoglou, any of the players at this football club makes absolutely no difference, and it will stay like that because whether or not I think.
Hold on. You say that. I'm going to call you up there. You have said you want the change of ownership.
I do.
Do you want the change of manager?
Of course, but it makes no difference. It's not good. Let's be fair. Whether I want
you want Ange out. You want Ange gone.
And look, for me, I don't care. If I woke up in the morning and Ange was sacked, would I care? No. If I woke up and Ange is still the manager, will I make any difference? No. It's going to make no difference whether I think Ange should go or whatever. He will get himself sacked if he can't win games of football. That's my mentality of it. He will get himself sacked if we can't win games of football. That's the nature of the beast, right? For me, I think
100%.
But tactically, I think his in-game tactics and all that lot, I think are all over the place, personally. And I personally just sit there and think that it is what it is with this manager. This manager will do. He will make himself his job untenable. And when it comes to the likes of Daniel Levy, same thing. What difference does it make? Whether or not I think that he sucked the soul out of the football club, which I do think he has. I think the soul of the football club is gone. What we represented as a football club is not there anymore.
Hold on. You got to qualify that shit. The soul of the footbul club has gone under Daniel Levy.
Yeah. Elite. Look, whether
what
or not
was the soul under Alan Sugar then, Perch? What was the soul under?
I kind of got Sean. I'm a little bit younger than you, my friend. I don't mean to.
So what are you saying then? You can't.
Because
what do you mean? The soul of the. That's such a strong statement. The soul of the football club has been taken away by the devil. So you're calling him the devil, right?
No.
He's taking your soul.
No. You're taking it into different realms. No, Daniel Levy's not the devil. Look, what I would say with it all.
No, you got to qualify what you said. Or retract it. I'm not letting you get away with this one.
No.
You don't remember Alan Sugar.
No. Look, the shoot. No, I'm more talking about it in the sense of. But this is just a personal thing. I think more of a feeling of the football club I've lost in a sense that could be all different factors. That's just not. I can't sit there and quantify it on specific things. For me, I think that the direction of where the football club is going, in the sense of it all, the direction of where it is. We're going into the football club has become less and less of a priority at the football club than it used to. Whether or not that is
in order to diversify the revenue stream, to take away the responsibility of Spurs fans to pay the bill for Spurs.
But the Spurs fans are, whether or not we say that, the Spurs fans pay the most money of season. That's the choice of fans, by the way. By the way, I can't blame Daniel Levy for that because if Spurs fans are.
Do you credit Daniel Levy though for dragging in like circa £125 million from commercial avenues? You know, Anthony earlier was saying he gets pissed off with finding out that Tottenham are sponsored by Louis Vuitton this week and fucking some, tissue, Andrex toilet paper next week and like whatever, Ray-Ban sunglasses the week after. I remember it was only 2 weeks ago, Hugo Lloris is sitting there. Hugo fucking Lloris, the geezer is the longest serving captain in any of our lifetimes. I'm not sure if he is... Adrian, I'm not sure if he's the longest serving captain in your life, but as far as I can remember, welcome to the show, by the way. Like this geezer, this fucking clown who walked off the pitch at half-time at Newcastle 5-0 down or whatever it was, right? He's coming around going, oh, yeah, no, it didn't fit right with me. He gives us
French
a watch.
accent's awful, by the way.
Yeah, I know. French. I know my accents are terrible. I'm going to continue to do it because I don't give a fuck anymore. New Sean Butler. I don't care. And he goes, no, the lack of despondency, the lack of significant despondency, losing the game was a problem for me. How about, bro? You're the fucking captain. You're the captain. Sort that shit out. You're the guy who's in the ear of the players, not Daniel Levy. You're the cunt. Excuse my French. But you're the cunt. Okay? You're the guy who's supposed to do that. And you're sitting there pointing a finger. Every time you point a finger, there's three pointing back, Hugo, and there's one for you as well, my man. Fuck that. Like, I'm sorry, this excuse merchant bullshit. Everything's Daniel Levy's fault. No. You're the captain. You're responsible for the on-pitch, decency. You're the pitch. You're the guy responsible for the ambition on the pitch, the leadership. Where are you? I watched the Amazon documentary. Did you see his halftime, his pre-match team talks? And then guys, let's go. Okay, that was it. What is that? What is that? I'm sorry. People make excuses every time, any chance that anyone gets to say it wasn't me, it was him. Sorry, like I can't stand the bollocks. Can't stand the bullshit. If you don't like Daniel Levy for being the businessman, that's fine. But if you also hold him accountable for charging Tottenham fans too much, but then you also want someone to spend £100 million on Osimhen or £150 million on this player, and you're not okay with the fact that he's generating £150 million from Beyonce and from go-karting, if you're going to mock that shit, you can't run with the foxes and hunt with the hounds. You can't do it all. Tell me what you want done differently, and I'm still waiting for a coherent answer. I just want a coherent answer.
What I will say, I have to be a bit quiet because the people upstairs just heard me screaming.
I apologize for saying the C word twice.
It's absolutely fine. I mean, they are Spanish, so it's absolutely fine. But I am quite loud, so I've got to be quiet a bit more. But I will finish on this. I actually, Sean, do you know what? I agree with you on this point, and I'll agree. But what I would say, it's a reason why I don't go anymore. I don't want to spend money until I see the actual change at the football club in the levels of we're going from here to here. For me, I think we seem to be a football club that are very comfortable finishing where we are. As long as we finish in the Champions League spots, that's what we are. And I think that we're very accepting of that as a football club. Why go and spend an extra £200 million on players to push higher when we can do that? But as a fan base, it looks like we're very accepting of it. There's a minority that want that, but let's be fair. What difference does it make? And this is where I'm at, and I'll leave it at that, and I will run and leave you to it because I don't want to wake the neighbours up. It is nearly 1 o'clock in the morning, but I will finish on this last point, and I will leave it at that for everyone to carry on and say what they want to say. Was if that stadium is packed, that says enough for me on where we are as a football club. Fans are happy. So we're packed out, we're sold out. So
we're certainly sold out. We weren't happy, man. The atmosphere today was fucking horrendous.
But Sean, let's be fair. Our fan base, we beat Bournemouth on the weekend. Everyone's happy again. I've seen it. We lost to Ipswich.
We ain't beating Bournemouth if we play like we did today.
No, I agree. But Sean, but you used the week before. We lost to Ipswich and we were an absolute meltdown as a fan base. We beat Man City and all things are great again.
Yeah, that's just the nature. That's human nature, isn't it? It's human nature, right?
But by the time we gone to January, we'd have already been in crisis and need a whole change of a whole club. We would have been the best team in the world, and we're going to win the league, and we're going to win the double with the Euro. And Ange Postecoglou is going to go from the greatest manager in the world to the worst manager in the world in the space of about 3 weeks. Let's be fair, that's what's going to happen. For me, I've always stayed very level in all my opinion. I think Ange is an okay manager. I don't think he's great. But look, it is what it is, right? It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. You know what, Percy, you're absolutely right. Let me listen, mate. Welcome back, buddy. Like, I fucking love you, man. I'm so glad to see you, buddy. I lost all your. I lost your number. I know you.
I lost yours as well somehow. I don't know how.
I'm on my 19th number since the last time I spoke to you, Bo. So you wouldn't even be able to get 2 numbers even if you guessed it out of a lottery. Adrian, welcome to the show, my man. You're wearing your brilliant. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, just before you introduce, I'm going to shoot because I don't want to get in trouble. I just want to say little easy plug. I'll be that guy. If you can go subscribe, that'd be lovely. And but look, thanks for letting me on.
What's the name of the channel? One more time.
At Perchy YT. It's just Perchy. That's all it is.
Perchy YT. But I thought you had some football manager name.
No. That's it.
Perchy YT. Okay.
At Perchy YT. And so big up. Thanks for letting me on, Sean. By the way,
great to see you, man. Great to see you, man. Richard, I put the email address in the private chat. Yeah, email me and we'll swap numbers. Good to see you, man. Stay healthy. Adrian, I think we also lost James at some point in my rant. Maybe I offended him with the C word. Probably. It happens.
Well, you don't want sensitive people on a Spurs.
I don't care anymore. I don't care.
I mean, if you're sensitive, you might as well go and lie under a rock or something like that.
Yeah. How you doing, Adrian, man? Listen,
I'm glad. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're back. We'll have to get you on our show as well.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course.
You know, with a couple of suitable guests as well. Yeah, it's a. Yeah, I mean, I always try to be positive. 1-1 draw, very disappointed. Was at the game, not happy, disappointed. But you know, I mean, like we're what? We're not close off. We're close to 4th spot, aren't we? And like we're in 3 cups. And for you guys out there, the FA Cup draw is tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I believe, and we're ball number 40. And as long as we get home draw, I don't care who we get. Right? I just want to.
Are we ball number 40? Are we? I like that.
Ball
I'm
number
40 years old. We're
yeah.
gonna get a fucking horrendous draw.
Yeah.
You know we are.
Life begins at 40. So
Yeah, well,
you know,
new Sean
like,
does.
it's all
New
good.
Sean's life begins at 40. Yeah.
we're looking a bit threadbare at the moment. The players look knackered, right? And it shows that, like, okay, Solanke turns up today, he's not well, maybe he's got COVID or flu or something like that, the usual like winter bugs. So they sent him home, and Kulu gets rested. People screaming rent the plan. I'm thinking, well, hang about. You're going to work him to death, are you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because like he's been our best player this season. So, and I'm just thinking, like, well, when you do actually take Kulu and Solanke out the side and say Sarr, right, or the main engines of our team, who have we got to come and do a similar job?
Well, at the moment, not much,
No.
right? But I still argue that our squad is the best it's been since Pochettino.
It's a good squad when everyone's fit.
It's a good squad even without him.
Start looking a bit.
We are threadbare, yet we still put out an 11 today that is probably the 6th best 11. Even with all the injuries, I would argue the 11 that started on the pitch today was the 6th or 7th probably best 11 in the Premier League today.
And the surprising thing was, like, at first, when Davis and Dragosin first played as a pair, everybody was going like, oh no, what's going to happen here? And as it happens, they've played quite well. But where I thought we looked a bit exposed today, like, Dragosin tried to ping some of these balls out of her old style or Romero style. He isn't that player. I was expecting, I'm very disappointed.
Dragosin?
Yeah, I expected.
Dragosin is an incredible pinger of long balls. Don't even worry about his long balls. He's not afforded the luxury to do it.
He's no Romero though. He's no Romero. And
I think he's better than Romero.
Romero's our quarterback, and as our quarterback, even VDV's right. Fair enough. You can disagree. That's fine. It's just perspectives, isn't it? Right.
That's fine.
So like VDV and all that. Who'd ever look for at the back? I'd like to see VDV be more progressive himself, you know, and try and progress us up the field. But he doesn't, right? He'll do the galloping runs. Don't get me wrong, good player. But to me, Romero is by far, by a country mile, our best defender, even though he's took a little bit of criticism off the Spurs fan base. But he progresses us up the field, right? And, like, Dragosin isn't as good on the ball. I mean, there's a player there, but he isn't a mature Romero type player. And like, so then I would expect today, what I expected today, okay, you got Davies and Dragosin there, pretty solid recently. They look solid. Why isn't Bissouma coming to pick the ball up off the back foot?
I thought Bissouma was fucking awful today.
Yeah, he was shit.
Yeah.
You know what?
I'd get rid of him because, like, if he can't, well, say get rid of him. That's just being harsh. When you get a result and emotions are in, you know, going.
You know how I've been. For the last 2 years, I've been talking about Tottenham's need for a monster number 6.
Yeah.
I'm going to change it. I'm going to make it. Here is a call for wisdom. Let the one who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and that number is 6. 6. 6. He's in the fucking Bible. I gotta stop calling this shit. I gotta stop with it's the monster 6. No, it's the beast.
That's a bit profound for a Sunday night.
We need the devil,
profound,
baby.
You know
We need the devil. We only need one of them. We don't need 3. We need one number 6. That is the beast. I'm going to call him the beast 6.
Bissouma's getting played in the wrong position, though. This is the thing about Bissouma.
Yeah.
He's not a number 6. He's a number 8. That's what I've been saying. Like, Postecoglou plays him the wrong way. Because at Brighton, where the guy who bought Brighton was the number 8.
He doesn't believe in 6s, 8s, or 10s. So there's no such thing. There are only midfielders.
Exactly. And he doesn't believe in any side centre backs, does he? Left-sided or right.
We don't have a 6. Unless
come on, Dave. Come on and join us.
Right?
Sean, can I
Unless
ask you one
Vaskovic is
thing?
going to be that 6 because he can play there as well as centre back.
Yeah, stay there, Adrian. 1 second. Anthony wants to pop in for a sec. Yeah, go on, go on. Come in, mate. Come in.
Sean, I'm gonna say something, and I mean this with total respect. I've even said before.
We'll let you know.
You never have to preface it, man. Just say what you want to say. But I appreciate it. But you say
Okay,
what you
no, I mean this because I think it's a fiery topic, and it's not something that I want to. I'm not trying to get under your skin. If Khabib Nurmagomedov can fight Conor McGregor in the ring, and if two guys that don't see eye to eye can get together and go at it and have a referee there and actually battle it out without killing each other, even though I'm sure they wanted to. I'm on Stell's show all the time, and I've been a big backer of Stell, and I really agree with his opinions, and he's been called on the carpet for a lot. A lot of people hate him, and I'm a big fan of his. I really enjoy his streams, and I enjoy Tottenham away. Wait for it, because there are more people than just Sean. It's people like Iggy and Mari. It's a group. It's not just one human being. And so even if you hated Stell, for example.
I don't hate Stell. I don't hate them. I don't hate anyone. I'm not accusing you of anything.
I'm not saying you. But I'm saying that when it count, okay, when it came to you arguing with me about Levy, you made a really good argument, which is that I was changing the goalposts from how much we spend to who we spend it on, and I totally agree with you. I'm not a very good arguer, especially about things concerned with money and facts and figures like that. Why don't you go on with Stell? Not on either one of your shows, but on someone else's show that's a neutral, and with a referee, like almost like a presidential debate. And I'm saying this
like a neutral,
not because I want to see you battle Stell, but because I would rather see you go up against a guy who's diametrically opposed to you, but it has way more Tottenham knowledge, more football knowledge, and more financial knowledge of the team than I'll ever have. And I'm not the right guy. Like, if you were going to do it, why not do it against the guy that would be like the number one antithesis of you, and do it on, like I said, not on your show or his show, but on a neutral show that can like blow the whistle and say, okay, you made your point, Sean, over to you. What do you think of blah, blah, blah? They run debates and they do things between people that do have animosity, that do hate each other. I'm not saying you hate Stell. I'm saying that there are people that do hate each other that go on debates and get in the ring and do stuff like that. And actually, if it's done well, a lot of times the two combatants can hug it out or can say like, all right, we had a good, fair debate and I was glad to have it. So I'm putting it out there. I'm not challenging you. I'm simply just.
I hear you.
I would love to see.
I get that message sent to me.
Let me ask you.
Adrian, just wait 1 second. I've got to respond to that directly. So I get you're not the first person that's asked me that. Probably the first person in a while that's asked me live on stream about it, and that's fine. I thought about it a lot because I get asked that question all day, every day. Well, not all day, every day, but I get asked it a lot. Right? Here's the tricky part about this. And I'm saying it's live, so I know this is going to get clipped and it's going to go, but it doesn't. I don't care. The problem is for me, I don't give a fuck how it's interpreted. I don't think that he says anything different than the thousands of other people that I've had on my channel. They all say the same shit. They all say the same arguments. And so when I've battled 9 out of 10 of the other people,
like
I haven't battled him,
like
yeah,
that. Brian
Daigle, I find it disrespectful to people like Brian Daigle, people like Johnny, people like, I don't know, everybody that's a common figure, right? Just let me land on this one. I think that it's disrespectful of him to sit there and say that, yeah, you've battled these guys, but you haven't battled me, as though his ability to enunciate and articulate the argument is somehow incredibly stronger or more palpable or more varied in its context. It isn't. They all say the same shit. They all talk about 500 days. They all talk about the same thing. Listen, I am confident in my argument. I am not in any way, shape, or form in any level, this life, the next. I know that there are encampments. The people that feel the way they do about Levy will not change their mind, whether they are in or out. I know that I'm on the unpopular side of the Oki, and for when you say I'm diametrically opposed to him, I'm not actually. I'm really not. Like, I agree with him, and he agrees with me on loads of topics within the Tottenham hemisphere. It's just on the Levy thing. I talk about the things that no one else will talk about, not because I am Levy's lapdog, but because my interest, as I think that it's incumbent upon Tottenham people that have a voice, that have a platform, a channel, to offer balance. And I think that there are nine times out of 10, most of the channels regurgitate the same voice, the same opinion, and they lean the Levy out way. And that's fine. I'm not Levy in, and I'm certainly not as Levy in as he is Levy out. I don't care about Daniel Levy. I just don't think that he deserves the credit for our failure that other people do. Right? That's the first part. The first part of this narrative. The second part, am I afraid to debate, or am I reluctant to debate anybody? No. Like, you guys, I mean, every single one of you wants Levy out, right? Apart from, I think, Alan. I have everybody on. So am I afraid to debate him? No, because he doesn't say anything different. And I think it's arrogant and condescending and insulting of the people that I do respect, that are just as palpably loud and visible in the anti-Levy movement. People like Brian Daigle, who I think I saw in the chat here before, right? I don't think it's respectful of their ability to articulate their own voice by saying, you've debated them, but you haven't debated me. Like, I don't like, okay, cool. If it wasn't for what I'm going to come to next, then I'd happily do it. And you know what? The new version of Sean is a give a fuck approach. So there's every chance that, you know what, he might receive a text message from me saying, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Because I'm like, every single argument, I've heard it 1,000 times, and he doesn't say it any sweeter or any louder. He just says it in a way that his particular like audience gobble up, right? But his particular audience gobble that shit up anyway. And there's no value in it, because those people are going to feel the same, and the people that don't are not going to. There's probably, like, just like in politics, Anthony, right? There's 40% of people in America that lean pro-Trump. There's 40% that lean pro whoever the Democrat candidate is, and there's like 20% of people that are convincible, like Kamala Harris this time, but whatever, whatever, probably Barack Obama, whatever, right? But they like the 20% like are still winnable. I think it's the same in the Tottenham debate. So I don't think you're going to win any hearts and minds, but what you are going to do is invoke a lot of like hate unnecessarily. The next point, I'll just to cover these all things up in one go. If I'm going to do it, and like I say, the old version of Sean, there's a reason why I didn't, and it's not because in any way, shape, or fucking form I'm intimidated by losing a debate, because I don't lose a debate to anybody. I don't lose a debate to anybody ever on anything. I come with fucking ammo and education and intelligence and logic, and you ain't gonna be. If I'm gonna take on I don't debate topics I don't understand. That's why I would never talk about Israel, Hamas, Levy. Like I don't. If I don't know things about, I'm not gonna have a fucking dog in the fight. I'm not gonna take it on. When it comes to the shit that I am willing to debate, I know I'm confident and competent in what I'm doing. When it comes to this one, if I'm going to do it, I'm not going to give another channel the benefit of the attention that it would attribute. What I would do is I'd have a 2-part show, or I'd do a multi-stream to my channel and to their channel at the same time, so that they can benefit, because they would also, I'm sure he would also recognize, or they would recognize, that it's, it's going to draw a lot of attention, right? And I'm sorry, that's fine. But I'm not going to put it on some neutral channel. No chance. No way. So it's going to be on my channel, either a 2-part or 1-part over the thing. The last thing I would say, and this is the part where it's the difficult thing for me to get over, is Stelios Tritios's behavior since I've known him is the reason why I won't debate him. His ability to play victim is incredible. It's incredible to me.
Sean.
Hang on 1 second, James. Really important. Sorry, boss. If you're gonna drop off, man, you gotta go. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, James.
I've got to go. Whatever. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. See you later, guys. See you later. Bye bye.
Take care, brother.
So this is the reason why I haven't done it in the past, is because I don't You know that I'll just say this. Fuck it. I don't care. The stuff that came out about what he said about Jacob's child. I knew about that 18 months ago, and I said to Jacob, well, wait, you ain't gonna call that out? And Jacob said, no, I'm not mad. I don't want to bring that shit, that heat on my family. My wife wouldn't want. I was like, okay, fair enough, right? And then Hotspur Hippie mentioned it, and Jacob obviously mentioned it. So, like, it's things like that. It's things like being called personally drug addict, alcoholic. Probably the latter are largely true to a degree, whatever. But either way, like the ability to play victim when you are the genesis of most of the things that I've experienced in the two and a half years that I've known him. I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of his diatribe. I'm not a fan of his ability to attack other people, and then when he gets an attack back, he then plays the victim of it. And I think that when you have lines in the sand, when you have friends that have been victims of his abuse, I've got a strong enough shell. I've got like a crusty exterior, but I don't give a fuck, and I never did. So he made 25 fucking videos about me on his previous channel before it got shut down. Right, his channel when it got shut down. I can't prove it now because that channel got shut down. But there were 25 videos that were about me. I never responded to any of them. I never did. I didn't care. I was like, okay, do you? So like, there's a level, Anthony, to answer this. This is now going to invoke so much. I can't wait for the shit that's going to come back. But largely speaking, in a nutshell, am I prepared to do it? I wasn't, but not because of any other reason other than you give that guy a platform, you condone the behavior, and I don't condone his previous behavior. I don't in any way, shape, or form. And then the fact that now the stuff with Jacob, who's a good friend of mine, came out, I'm not sure. But at the same time, the new version of me is a give a fuck version of me, not on the Jacob stuff, but on the I'm probably more inclined to take it on, to get it out of the way, because the absence of embracing it gives people the opportunity to pretend like it's somehow an absence of fear, but it's not. It's an absence out of respect to the people that don't necessarily have the voice or the protection that I don't give a fuck about. So it might happen, Anthony. It might happen if he wants to, but if it does, it's because I've got past that mental that blockage of whether or not it sends the wrong message to the right people. That makes sense.
Don't play into his hands, Sean. Don't play into his hands.
No, but I don't. It's not.
My issue is like,
it's not playing into his hands. I couldn't care. I'll bury him on the Levy out argument.
Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, you're an eloquent person, an intelligent person. I'm sure you hold your own in any argument, right? Any debate whatsoever, right? Of course. Right. So my argument has always been like, look, do I like Levy? No. Has the club got empathy with the fan base? No. Am I Levy out? Well, show me the new owner, right? All right, I'd love a new owner, but then like, don't conflate Ange, whether the football's been going well or not, with Levy, or try to use it as part of your agenda, and don't use every opportunity you've got, because to me as a Spurs fan, I've been over 6 decades as a Spurs fan, right? Don't, whenever there's a press conference, and most of them are bollocks anyway, right? No manager admits his team's crap, his players are crap, blah, 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 and all that shit. Don't use, don't start picking up on what he says, oh, we want to be challenged for a top, and then twist his words to suit your agenda, because your agenda, if you generally don't like Ange and the football and the style he plays, fair enough, you don't like him, you want him gone, that's fine, but don't conflate that with your agenda against Levy as well, right? Because that ain't right, it's not honest. And don't fucking misquote him, because all we get is misquotes. And straight away, I'm thinking like, well, you're a slime, right? You're misquoting him for your own agenda, right? Now, if you've got a genuine argument when a club make a PR blunder, which they do regularly on a regular basis, they win the gold medal for it, that's fine as well. I will never defend the indefensible, right? I won't do that. I'll take a pragmatic approach, right, to this. Would I like an owner? Yeah, I would. Would an owner change things? Well, they could only change things in a way that they have more empathy with the fan base. They're not going to change things financially, because as Sean has said in loads of videos in the past, well, now we have the SCR rules, the squad cost ratio rules. There's only so much you can spend anyway, right? But what I've said to Sean in the past was, money Hojbjerg is like, I want us to spend the maximum we can spend in a window. You know,
which we've done.
Which
The only gap
the last window I don't know, Sean, because it was like 70 million max spend, but all this getting wages reduced and getting players out. And all this. We find these out the year after when the accounts are always a year behind.
Oh, Adrian, you say that, mate. And I'm never someone to toot my own trumpet. But when was the last time that someone asked me a predicted net spend that I got it wildly wrong? I've always been on the ballpark because the numbers you can predict them.
Look,
you can see them coming.
I go to you. You've worked in finance for years, and I also go on to like when I like Kieran Maguire because he's a Brighton fan and he lectures on football finance at Liverpool University. So I look to you guys. I mean, I know you're in that sort of business. I'm not. I was involved in sort of finance in a way years and years ago. I'm retired now, so everything's bypassed me. It's well past me, right? But I don't like if you're gonna have a bash, that's fine. If it's legit and what you're saying is true, that's fine. But don't if you're gonna bullshit the fan base, I don't know how they take that. I know I take it. I don't like it, but like I can't speak for the rest of the Spurs fan base. I don't know how they react to those sort of things when, like, you can sneer about events at the stadium, which gives great business to all the local businesses in the poor Tottenham area. It really is a boon for them, right? You can sneer at all the events, which all goes into the same company, right? And Spurs have got about 14, but the two main ones are Tottenham Hotspur Limited, which own the stadium, and Tottenham Hotspur Football Atletico Company Limited, which are the original Spurs company, but they own the players' registration and get the television fees. So there's a lot of money. It's more money than we pay. They make about 6 million a game. We go about 120 million a season, but the club's making 550 million, 282 million on sponsorship. They're paying out 251.1 million on wages. You know, this club is a cash cow. But it's also
it's a cash cow that pays its way, mate. The idea of making a profit as an owner, like to a lot of people, is ludicrous. To me, it's entirely reasonable. Adrian, let's part the specifics of the managers. I do want to bring in Anthony, but also Alan. Alan, you've been really quiet, mate. I know you've been you're sitting outside in your San Diego, beautiful little your hub there. Is it San Diego you're in? I think it is, right? It's yeah.
It's too hot there for them anyway.
Done well for yourself.com, you know. Listen, Anthony, I don't know if that answered your question, mate. I'm thinking about it more and more because I think it would be nice. It should probably happen at some point, but the reason why I haven't done it is because it's not for the reason that's offered.
I understand. If I may say one final bit of it, and it's not just about you and Stel. This whole thing about these shifting allegiances, it reminds me of Europe circa 1913 with like Henry Wright being with Lee Gunner and then Henry Wright being with Stel and then Stel having a fight with Sava and then Sava and Stel making up and then Stel and you having a falling out and you being on Henry's channel and then Jacob being on your channel, blah, 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 and all these different things. I know that Stel apologized about whatever god awful thing he said about Jacob's kid, and I can fully understand that was probably an awful thing to do. I wasn't there. I don't know about it, and I don't pretend to know about it. All I know is that he did publicly apologize straight up without any preconditions. Like, I apologize, but he just said.
For what it's worth, he did. He played victim within 5 seconds of saying it. But it doesn't matter. I'm saying, listen, you can back him as much as you want. Probably not the time for it. Listen, at the end of the day, listen, you haven't got to sit there and like defend him.
No. But Sean, this isn't about telling you. What I'm talking about is a more general thing. It has to do with Hotspur Hippie and Stel and Sava and you and Henry and Lee Gunner and all these different things. I think that I think one of the I think two things come out of all of this enmity, which is it drives traffic, so people check in. People always want to see a fight.
It's not honestly. I hear where you're going with that, right? I think that there's a lot of people that have grifts in this community. A load of people do, right? And for what it's worth, not this is the time or the place, but a grift is the way to make money. Henry Wright. I said this on my live stream. I think it was on the preamble on Friday when I had or Saturday when I had Johnny on. Like Henry Wright is a fucking legend of a guy, a legend of a human being. When I first heard about him, when I first saw him, when I first met him, knew him, whatever. Like young guy, whatever. But this guy gets a shitload of abuse now because Lee Gunner doesn't like the fact that Henry's figured out his own version of exactly what Lee Gunner does, right? And it's just a grift. Lee Gunner has figured out that it's very easy to hate on your team who are close to success but are not necessarily likely to get it. Because as I said a million times, if success and failure is driven by this narrative that a year with a trophy is success and a year without it is failure, which I think is a ludicrous.
3 successful teams or something. Yeah.
Like the most successful teams of all time fail more times than they succeed under that narrative. Then if you are someone whose team is close to but ultimately fails more times than they don't, then you're always going to be right when you hate on your own team. Right?
Or Wigan is a bigger club than us because they won the FA Cup and we haven't, according to that metric.
But if Lee Gunner hates on Henry, who they were mates a year ago, if Lee Gunner hates on Henry because Henry figured out his own kind of quote unquote grift, which is for not that dissimilar, but a different version of it, which is, you know what? Everybody who supports a team like Tottenham would love it if there's a fan of a team like Arsenal who's supposed to hate you, but that guy goes out and puts content out that happens to support an impressive version of the team that you're supposed to hate, right? Henry puts out content, right? Puts out content that does that, or it did do that last season. And Lee Gunner despises the guy that he was best mates with for doing exactly the fucking same thing that he does, which is hate on the team that you're supposed to love because it's more likely that you're going to lose and be a failure than it is a success. He's a grifter, and yet he hates on Henry, who figured out his own little grift, and there's no problem with that because Henry now talks about Liverpool and Chelsea and everybody else as often as he does everything else. Like, there's no problem. Everyone's got their fucking reason for content. Who is anybody to cast a shadow or a shade on it?
Agreed.
It's ridiculous. Stell does the same thing. Tottenham away. Sava's got his own version of it. I've got my own, but we've all got our own version of what makes us a unique content creator. Everyone has the thing. And Hotspur Hippie, as much as I like the guy, if I'm entirely honest, like, Paul, if you're watching this, bro, sorry, buddy, but you're supposed to be peace and love and happiness, dude. Most of the time, you're not happy. You're angry. Most of the time, it's
Sean,
not really.
Sean,
even though you're throwing that shade on Stell, who I don't have that much time for, like, it's also a little bit grifty, man. Like, if you're calling out people for having their own grift, you've got your own. Figure it out. The most popular content that you produce is angry at other content creators. Like,
exactly.
You can't call someone out for a grift and at the same time be delivering your own grift and not have intelligent people see through it. Like, stick to your own narrative. And if not you, Paul, anyone, if you don't have enough analysis of your own club, there's an absence in your value. And if that directs you towards I've got to find a content strategy, and that happens to be to hate on other channels, and everyone does it to a degree, I think it's shit. Just talk about your football club. Talk about your football club. That's what we're all here to do.
Sean, just to add to that, right?
Adrian,
just to add to that, right?
He's there.
People, you've got.
Sorry, Paul. If you want to come on, mate. If you want to come on and defend yourself, sorry, man. I'm not having a crack, buddy. Well, maybe I'm having a crack. If you want to come on and have a ego, buddy, here's the link. I'll give you the chance for a response.
You've got groups out there with great followings, right? And you hit the nail on the head, right? You've got your following. Talk about what you need to talk about. Set your narratives. Do your own thing. Why are you attacking and being abusive to other people out there? And these people are probably well-intentioned Spurs fans. You might not disagree. You might not agree with them, but like, why are you doing this? Why are you causing angst out there in the community, right? You know.
And I just think everyone's got their grip. It's what we do. Like, if you sell windows, you go knocking door to door, you're gonna have a grift, right? Everybody, whatever you do to make money, that's your thing. That's how you make money. You're gonna lean into the thing that creates good content. I just struggle with the idea of people who say you shouldn't do this even though I'm doing my own version of it. I don't think it's reasonable. And I love Paul. I think he's a very funny, very, very cool guy. I really like him. And listen, his video that he put out about Stell about 4 or 5 months ago, whenever it was, I thought it was fucking hilarious. But at the same time, of late, Paul, if I'm honest, and the link's there, my man. The link is there if you want to come on. I think that of late, Paul, you are probably guilty of a similar thing that you accuse others of, and I don't think it's cool. But listen, to each their own. Don't really care. I just think it's.
I must be incredibly nice because I don't do hate at all. I don't even at the ground. I won't do the Sol Campbell song. I won't get up if you want to hate Arsenal, West Ham, and all that. I won't do any of that. That's just not me, you know.
Adrian, I agree with you on the Sol Campbell song. Sean, I want to wrap this in a bow and never mention it again. I've spoken my piece. I just want to say that that I really value all of these Spurs content creators, and it was like whack-a-mole when I was like, wait, Henry's not part of the group anymore. Wait, Sean isn't now invited. Wait, Stell is on.
I was never part of the group, man. I was never part of the group. That's fine.
The reason why I know you is because you'd appear on these panels of shows, and I'd be like, I really like that guy, and he seems like, and I've said this on Stell's show, and like, I like Sean. I have time for him. I love his walks with the dogs, and I learn a lot. And he promised me Pedro Porro, and we got him. And I said, you know,
don't lie. You love Bugsy.
Bring
yeah. Of course, Bugsy's the draw. Yeah. That's my grift. You know what? Fuck it. I'll be honest. I'll be 100% honest, mate. You know what? I learned a long time ago. Everyone loves a fucking dog. Everybody loves a dog. Put dog in the background.
You'll get the girlfriend soon enough if you just go to an urban center and bring the dog. But
it's like,
just to wrap it up.
Like the guy with the dog said to me, he said, "Yeah, I haven't eaten for 3 days." I said, "You must force yourself."
And I think we have a big tent, and I really, you know, I hope that this can be that more. I'm going to be very general, but I hope that more content creators who I respect, even if they have interpersonal issues or they have even, you know, issues of the way that they do things, and it's not personal, but they just don't respect some of the, you know, stances that they've taken or ways they've gone about doing things or things that they've said, which I totally understand. We've all done things wrong. We've all said things that we regret, and we've all handled things the wrong way. What I hope is just that that there is more, you know, more togetherness and more agreement on, you know, it's funny when you said, you know, Stell and I agree actually on a lot of things, disagree on some things vehemently, but we actually probably agree on more than we disagree. If I may say that.
Yeah, well, about Tottenham. Yeah, about Tottenham.
Yeah,
maybe not about life, but about Tottenham,
exactly. About Spurs. And I think this brings me to my main point, which is that we're so divided as a fan base that I think that when people that are in disagreement about Tottenham can at least talk and express themselves, as opposed to have to, you know, kind of isolate themselves away from each other or not talk to this one. And I'm not talking about you and Sel. I'm talking about all these guys, everyone. It create these camps. I think it devalues the message that we are fans and that we do need our voices to be heard. And I think that there's nothing wrong with having differences of opinions. I just think that it's great when two you know, people that have very strong opinions, when they can go on and speak with each other in a way that you know, doesn't bash each other personally, but actually, you know, plays the ball, not the man type of thing. I think that makes us all better, because as an American, there are, you know, 50,000 things that you guys have forgot that I don't even know about in terms of how English football works, how the club, how the club works, all this kind of stuff. And it hurts a fan like me to not be able to see you know, you guys, or to have one not invited on the other one's show, so I can't watch them both, and I have to watch twice as much content now as opposed to
You're being selfish. Basically, you're trying to mend deep rifts so that you can like streamline your content. Okay, I get it now. I see through your.
My phone doesn't. Bad boy. Spent 18
Anthony, who are we as a fan base then? And then, like, how much sway and what proportion of the Spurs fan base? I mean, we are estimated to have like 34 million fan base in the world, right? Obviously, like other clubs like Liverpool, Man United, Barcelona have a lot more than that, double, treble, or whatever, right? But the demographics of that around Spurs and the stadium and all that, right? When you get a protest movement, which I've stood with, right? Because I'm not a fan of Levy, I'm fully Angin though. I'll be totally honest. I'm fully Angin. I don't want to repeat. I've said it on my podcast and all that. Like, if people don't like, that's fair enough. That's their opinion, right? You know. But like, I just think like if you're trying to mobilise support one way or another, I mean, I don't know how you go about it, like to increase support. I've looked at Newcastle United, right, and I'd like to think their fans were more active. There seemed to be more close-knit. I might be deceiving myself, might be perception, deception, I don't know. And I look at them, what they did when Ashley was there and all that, like, but they didn't get rid of him. And when he finally eventually decided to sell, he sold. And that was it. And
yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing, Adrian, right? Like, at the end of the day, you show me one protest outside of
Liverpool going against Hicks and Gillette seemed to work a charm. I mean, they sold up because it got too hot.
No, they sold out because they had a bidder that paid the money.
Sugar sold because it's been documented. That was part of it, but like
Sugar sold.
Look, these are businessmen. They don't sell unless they think they've got the deal. They've got a good deal. They never sell.
I think when things get hot and ugly, I think owners start to get a little nervous, and I think they're more apt to at least either appease or sell. And
show me one Premier League fan base that protested, and that the direct result of protests equivocated with a sale at market price, not necessarily owner's price, and I will tip my hat and say, okay, crack on. I'll save you the trouble. You won't be able to. You can't. It hasn't happened. Every owner that has been protested against has waited out until they got the price that they wanted. The Glazers, Mike Ashley, Aston Villa, Fulham, Al Fayed, Bournemouth, Foley, all of those. There is a never-ending stream of people, of fans that have protested against the owners, and then a never-ending stream of examples of the owner going, okay, I'll go, but here's my price. And it could take a month. It could take, in the case of Ashley, 8 years? So I'm not someone who, where I will acknowledge that protests did have an impact was in the Super League thing. The outrage there, but that was a universal. That was everyone coming together as a country, as a fan base, and going, not happening. And everybody played the ball as a consequence of that. But in terms of individual clubs and individual protests, there isn't a single example that I can think of where the direct, indirectly maybe, and it took a while, but direct, no, it doesn't happen. So,
fair enough.
If you want to protest, how about it? Go for it. Go for your life. You know, I know Brian Daigle was in the chat. He was in the background, I think, for 5 minutes, and then as soon as we started talking about Stella, I think he jumped out.
It's the elephant in the room.
I like Brian. Brian's cool.
I love
cool.
Brian. Brian's
great.
Brian's a legend.
Look,
Brian's an
I've got nothing against the well-intentioned fans. I always take a practical and objective view on these things, right?
I just don't know what changes.
I don't want to be a legacy fan. I've said to Sean in the past, I said, like, I fear for the fact that, like, where are our future generation of fans going to come from? Are they going to be like a pair of fans who get tickets for a baseball game in America and say, oh, I've got a couple of tickets for a game, but they're not really fans. They're the local club and they'll go out and watch a game because it's full. And I think that's sad. I like it when your heart and soul are involved in a club like mine has been for over 6 decades, you know? I mean, like, so that's important to me. But maybe my time has gone. I don't know. I hope not. But I mean,
Definitely
I'd like to, and I fear for future generations of fans. And when I talk about working class as well, but I think Sean said to me once, well, like, who's to say the next guy that earns more money than you isn't a more passionate fan than you are? Which is a fair argument.
100%. Mate, Adrian, there's a massive. This is the problem with the way that media portray narratives. Why is it that because you're poor, you're a bigger fan than someone who could afford, Clark shoes versus fucking whatever Louis Vuitton shoes? Like, why does your wealth dictate your level of support? Like, I've gone from wealthy to poor very recently because of all the things that I've lost. I'm not any less of a Tottenham fan than I was 6 months ago, you know? And I think that people, this narrative that you're getting priced out, this narrative that, I heard Gordon Brown, ex-Prime Minister of the UK, who was responsible for so many fuck-ups at the end of the previous Labour era, coming out saying, "Oh, I can't wait for the independent regulator of sport to come in to right some wrongs with regards to the affordability of football." He was like, "Yeah, it's not okay that it costs, the price of shirts costs what they do, and the price of tickets costs what they do in the Premier League, and therefore we need to curtail that." I'm like, oh, okay. He's a previous Chancellor of the Exchequer, trained economist who directed the UK under the Tony Blair government in the best kind of green shoots economy probably of our lifetime. No, did brilliantly as an economist. All right, Gordon, let me ask you this. Riddle me this, dickhead. If you're going to sit there and say that the price of a ticket for Tottenham or any other Premier League game is too much because a father can't take his kid or a mother can't take his kid or whatever, the family can't go, and you need to put like price rise limits on the price of a shirt, are you going to put a price rise limit on Chinese imports of the shirts where you get them manufactured? Are you going to put the same price rise limit on tickets on rugby or on cricket or on the cost of putting the product on? Where do you how can you sit there in a free economy and say a club has to wear the cost of the increase in the cost of putting the product on, but then limited in how much they can pass that cost on to the consumer? If that's the case for football, fucking football, which is a privilege and an experience, but not a necessity, then are you going to do the same thing with the price of milk at Tesco's? No. Are you going to do the same thing with the price of bread? Are you going to do the same thing with the price of gas at the pump? Of course not. You're putting the tax up on that, you fucking idiot, because that's the way that you make your money, you corrupt arsehole. Where's the consistency in terms of, oh, you know what? Let's go after football clubs because they've got... Well, actually, most football clubs lose money. So if you're going to do it at the Premier League level, are you going to do it at Championship? Are you going to do it? Wait, are you going to do it at rugby? Are you going to do it at fucking baseball? Are you going to do it? No, you're not. There's no narrative. It's just talking bollocks for sound bites so that you can get the next vote that comes your way. Not in Gordon Brown's case, but he's talking the Labour policies because he's still a Labourite. I don't know. Maybe I'm waffling.
So I just wanted to say goodbye, but thank you very much.
Anthony, cheers, mate.
Take care.
Love you, Anthony, man. Appreciate it, man. What up coming on? Appreciate you coming on.
Brother, thank you. Take care.
Alan, man, you've been sitting there so fucking patient, buddy. Listen,
he's always quiet. He's always quiet. Even on my show.
Yeah, I don't even. When you disappear for a wee or wherever you go, you disappear for a wee or wherever you go, and then you put this the picture of you on. Is that picture recent, relatively recent? Oh, because it's a different version of you.
No, it's old. It's like 10 years old.
Okay. You got the beard and you got the grey, and this other guy comes on like, "Hi, I'm Johnny Bravo. How you doing?" It looks good though. It looks good. I need one of those pictures.
Yeah, everyone needs glamour shots.
What's your take, man? Listen, we're going to round it off soon. It's 1:30 midnight here, so we're not going to go for too much longer. But what's your take on what we've been talking about, buddy?
Oh my God, we've talked about a lot. I mean, Levy, I'm not a Levy outer. I think, again, it kind of, I don't know if it's because I'm American or whatever, and I don't have the pedigree like Adrian has, where I've been with the club for so long when it was much smaller and it was more of a local feel. Now it's a juggernaut, right? It grew because if it didn't grow, it was going to die. So I'm kind of the opinion that the club, Levy has taken, we talked about it, Levy made success out of club failure where they never seemed to succeed. He found a way, he found other revenue avenues. And I think that is probably what all clubs will start doing if they haven't already started doing it. They're going to look for other revenue, other avenues. I think we're going to see an NFL team. I got a feeling. Look, the one that can bring an NFL team to London is going to make tons of money on everything from all of the new fans that will come to the stadium from America. And that's really what Levy is. He's a businessman. He's running a business. And unfortunately, I'm of the opinion that the men's first team for football is just a portion, and it's getting smaller and smaller the more he expands, a smaller portion of the whole. And so whilst I would love to see us get, the most amazing players and spend ungodly amounts of money on them, we're buying youth. Why? Because I hate to say it, they'll last longer, and we'll get more value for money for them in the future as they grow, and hopefully we can grow them into solid talent. But Levy's looking at all this stuff as a business, and I don't blame him for that, because he is a businessman first and foremost. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is a business first and foremost. Without his business acumen, we would be in a much worse off place. Yeah. So, I can't hate on the guy for treating the business like a business, and anyone that says Levy out, I mean, anyone that would come in would do exactly the same thing with a multi-billion-dollar industry, company. They would do exactly the same thing. Where can we make money? How do we make money? It's why, I think Amanda Staveley came in recently. She came in, and I think she's just looking for investment into the future, not necessarily to take over. That I think that was way out of proportion. She's just looking for investment for the future, which I think is an NFL team. Personally, I think that Levy would. It's why we don't have the naming rights yet. We haven't sold anything. We're trying to stay sort of generic. They changed the logo so that it's a little more generic.
Just on the naming rights, Al. Sorry to interrupt. Just on the naming rights, the Euro competition with England in 2020, is it 8 or 6? Not sure.
That's not the reason. That's not the real reason, though.
No. You can't have a naming rights on your stadium.
Yeah, but that's not the reason why we didn't.
And be qualified to be a stadium that's used during that competition.
But that's not the reason why we didn't sell the naming rights.
Well, Todd Kleiner was the commercial manager. I mean, he left to go.
We didn't sell the naming rights because it was beneficial.
The other part of the naming rights, still, as you know, in America, is the fact that when you announce an NFL game, they'll go, we're going to Miami Dolphins. This is the Coca-Cola Stadium. Or we're going to, New England Patriots. This is the Pepsi-Cola Stadium.
Sure.
What's happened, what they found out by a serendipity, basically, is the fact that the Spurs name in America expanded enormously just because of the name of the stadium.
It's not serendipity. It's not serendipity. It's just, it's not rocket science. I had this explosion the other day.
Go on.
It's not.
We're all mates here. Go on.
No, yeah, of course we will. Of course. It's like, how do you place a value on the ability to say, welcome to the Googleplex or the Amazon Arena, right? Well, it's worth a certain amount to someone, right? To the name. Amazon aren't just paying for it for no reason. They're paying for it because for the same reasons as why Tottenham haven't sold it, because there's an intangible, unaccountable, inauditable value that comes from the exposure of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And if it became the Amazon Arena, well, Amazon are at the point in their product cycle, in their brand life cycle, where they don't need to. I mean, obviously they're still doing Google search and stuff, that they obviously need the products to appear. But in terms of branding is a very difficult square to circle when you're looking for tangible, direct relationship between how much you spend on something like a TV advertising strategy or a branding strategy, and how much it brings in terms of dollars. But Tottenham have figured out a long time ago through the NFL relationship that it might be intangible, but it's still very much indirectly attributable to things like the fact that within the American hemisphere, which has the greatest disposable income in the world, that in an emerging market of sport that is growing, the fastest growing sport outside of the big three or big four in America, that Tottenham are one of the biggest, the most frequently supported teams. And that is in no small part because when there's things like the Thanksgiving Ball or whatever it is, they go, where's the London Arena this year? Oh, it's at Tottenham. And these players, these people that are fans of NFL that are thinking about getting into the Premier League, well, they're somehow drawn to Tottenham Hotspur. Right? There's a reason why when you go to Tottenham, Adrian, we go every week, right? We used to. I'm going to get back into it, but you see more and more American people there.
Yeah.
I spoke to half a dozen today just in the queue for a beer. The reason
So-
being they found Tottenham, Adrian, 1 second. They found Tottenham through their links to American football and their exposure to the London franchise, the London what do they call it? The European leg or whatever it's called, right? And so there's value there. And Daniel Levy's not a fucking mug. If I can figure it out, he's 10 leagues ahead of me in terms of figuring this shit out. The reason we didn't sell the naming rights is not only because, although it's a small benefit, the ability to host a European football game is because there's indirect money that is attributable to the branding exercise of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to American fans. It's very simple.
Right. So like you're out there as you're a business, right? Why in your right suicidal mind would you want to get involved in a football club where you've got a fan base, no matter what club and what division you're in Europe, right? The fans are always going to demand, spend everything you've got, each season, spend everything you've got, right? Buy all these players, blah, blah, blah. And if you go skin and you go away, we don't care because then we want the next guy in to come in and spend, right? The maths don't add up, do they? But why do you buy Tottenham Hotspur? Well, one, you're in London. Two, that stadium is a shining jewel, right? If you're Google or owned by Alphabet are worth $1 trillion, just an example, unless you're going down the Elon Musk road because the stadium looks like a spaceship and you could call it the SpaceX Stadium, right, or whatever, why are you buying a fucking football club, right? You're not going to make no money at it. And if you spend billions on it and you're Elon Musk or you're Sean or you're Alan here, right, you're not going to see a return on your money in your lifetime. You're not. You'll see your luxurious living will carry on, right? You're not going to get a return on that. So why are you doing that, right? You're getting involved in sport. Why are you doing that? Well, one reason you come and you do that, and it's Tottenham, it's in shining. One, your new guy who comes in, he gets access to all the concerts, all the boxing, everything else, all the football, the rugby finals, blah blah blah, and all that, right? He also gets to show off to potential business partners who he's probably got hundreds of anyway, if he's a multi-billion, organization as well, to let them come, and have the best food and the best experience they can in a 5-star stadium with a football pitch, right? and so you've got that, and then all their other partners they've got then, right, that they've got with their business. Google worth $1 trillion, Alphabet have got they're involved in Tottenham. We want a bit of that too, so we want to sponsor them as well, and be part of the action, Yeah. And it snowballs. It snowballs, and it's you don't get in. Look, you don't have to get in football if you're really in the top multi-billions. We're talking mega billions or trillions of this planet, right? And regarding business, you don't have to get.
Sorry,
involved.
Jose, I didn't see you there, mate. How long you been down there for?
Right,
sorry, buddy.
Close to 15 minutes.
Fuck, man. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry, man. I was like.
As I said, Adrian, let Sean talk because he knows his finances.
Sean will lose me. Sean will lose me, and Kieran Maguire will lose me as well. But why, Sean? Why would anyone out there? You're better clued up in business than I'll ever be, right? So why would anyone want to get involved in a football club? In your opinion, I want to hear your opinion on this.
Why would anyone get in? Because loyalty sells. Loyalty. Come on, you can. People that bash Daniel Levy. I don't have a problem with the narrative that he takes advantage of loyalty. That's the same reason why every single chairman gets involved. With the absence of 2 or 3 chairmen that have that don't need profit as their driving force, they need something else. Whether it's sports washing, whether it's trying to distract, or in the case of certain Middle East narratives, it's not necessarily sports washing because they don't have the same thing as maybe Saudi Arabia do, but what they do have is a need to divest from the reliance on the black gold, which is oil, in a world that is predominantly moving towards fossil fuel erosion as the cornerstone of energy creation, right? So if you are a Qatar, if you are a sheikh from somewhere that doesn't necessarily have human rights abuses that they're trying to whitewash or whatever, not trying to get into that conversation for what it's worth, to each their own. But there's other countries that still rely on the oil, and but they know that the world, at least the traditional world, new world order, the world order that has always been NATO and the West as being the driving force, they have made a decided effort in the last 8 years, 10 years to move away or to move towards an economic green zone. And that doesn't suit the trillionaires that are black oil merchants. And so they're looking for new ways to diversify. So that's why they were taking... One
more question then for you, right? You talk to Jose then. Would you actually prefer a Middle East investor or an American investor regarding FX?
It all depends. I don't care. I don't care the color of their skin or the. I want to know what the plan is. I want to know what the plan is. I want to know what the risk is, and I want to listen. I'm open-minded to anything and anyone. I just don't think that the same. People think, oh look, if we had a trillionaire that came in like Saudi Arabia. If only we had that. They were all saying that before Newcastle were taken over, and Newcastle were taken over. And how was it? Exactly. How has it changed Newcastle? It's a slow burn, but you know what?
Well, they can, in the sense that like you can spend as much money as you like on infrastructure. That doesn't
right. But we've already ticked that box. We've already ticked that box. How much Newcastle can build a new stadium? They can put 100,000 seats in a new stadium, and you know what? And the Saudi Arabians will probably do that, right? And so Newcastle are a sleeping giant. But when it comes to Tottenham, you've got a new stadium. You're not knocking that down. Because they're not idiots. They're not going to pay 10 billion just to get hold of something that they still want their money. They still want their ROI.
It's a ready-made jewel. Tottenham Stadium is a ready-made jewel.
But is it a ready-made jewel for people that have got more money in the ground and they're trying to go after some different aim? I don't think they are. I don't think that the Arabs are looking at Tottenham and thinking that's the way that we can go about it, because most of the low-hanging fruit has been taken.
That's why I've said, why would you invest in a football club?
Right. Whereas American investments look at, the NFL? Relationship. Exactly, mate. NFL. Who's the low-hanging fruit for the NFL? You got to look at it like objectively. Can Qatar come in and can Qatar come in and spend £1 billion on Tottenham? Yeah, but it's going to be front-loading, doing what Todd Bowley's done at Chelsea. And then there's a whole massive front load of that risk. And does it really have a paid dividend? Probably not. Will Tottenham fans love it? Yes. Will it create success? Maybe, probably not. And even then, when it doesn't work out, just like the Chelsea fans 6 months ago, fuck Todd Bowley, get him out. And then suddenly they're all on board because they're third in the league and they're having a great season. But you know what? What have you done for me lately? Let's find out if Chelsea get there. If they don't, if Chelsea finish sixth, guess what? Chelsea fans once again will go, well, this fucking clown doesn't know what he's talking about. But they're okay now because their season's turned around. But you know what? They bought 50 players and 12 of them don't play. 12 multi-million-pound stars can't play a game of football for Chelsea because they bought too many players. They got 4 top draw goalkeepers. And Tottenham fans would love it on paper. They would go, gobble that shit up. And then as soon as it doesn't work out, the Levy outers will pivot to the fucking Arab outers, the Sheikh outers, shake, rattle, and roll out the fucking door because you ain't done it either. It's all good in the hood until it isn't. And to me, the narrative of Middle Eastern money coming in, it doesn't sing the same song at the same tune to Tottenham because the low-hanging fruit of infrastructure spend has already been done by a guy who happened to think ahead of the curve, but just also happened to want a profit. And I don't begrudge him that because that's what business is. And if you don't like it, you don't understand business. You don't understand life. That's it. I'm sorry if people in the comments will go, I'm a cunt for saying it. I don't care. You don't get it. If you don't get it, I get it. It's fine. Not everyone understands that stuff. But there's only 2 or 3 chairmen in football who don't care about profit. The rest of them do. Right. Jose, how you doing, man?
I'm good. It's been it's been good listening to you guys tonight. I was going to go to bed, and I thought, no, let me stay on a bit longer, and
You'll regret it. You'll regret it.
Yeah, no, I've got work in the morning. In the end, I thought to myself, God, let me just come on. Sean, firstly, can I say, welcome back, mate?
Thanks, Jose. I appreciate it. Is it Jose or Jose? It's Jose, isn't it?
Jose, yeah.
Sorry.
I've been leaving messages on your streams because I know that you've not been well as well, and you've had all that shit going on. So welcome back. It's nice to have you back.
Appreciate it.
It's nice to see you talking football again and finance.
To be honest, I've had a few. This Magnum was like, these are fucking brilliant.
That's fine, Sean. It's fucking Sunday night. Do what you want, mate.
I've got nowhere to be tomorrow morning, man. That's the thing. I've got nowhere. Monday mornings used to be I used to get up at 5 o'clock on a Monday, and I miss that, but I don't anymore. So it is what it is. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the title as well, and obviously you lot went off tangent talking about other things as well.
I'll probably regret that. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and go.
That's allowed. That's allowed, Jose. We do it
for my 2 pennies worth, and all I'm going to say is I was cheesed off today with the performance. And that's just putting it mildly. I was just cheesed off, and at the end of the day, I just couldn't understand why we didn't seem to have the oomph in us. And you were at the game, Sean, weren't you, today? And so were you, Adrian. So obviously, you two guys will probably get to see a lot more close up.
Very muted at the stadium. Actually, it was a muted atmosphere as well throughout the game.
The worst atmosphere I've ever seen.
But you guys get to see it close to pitch side, so you can see a lot more than what we can see on watching it and viewing it on streams and on tellies and whatever. But it just looked, for me, it just looked completely flat, completely flat.
You're right.
And the players that for me that came out with credit are the goalkeeper and the 2 centre halves. Other than that, I just
and Sarr, don't leave my man Sarr out of this because I thought he was good.
Compared to, well, as I said, I can only go by what I saw on.
Yeah, I thought Sarr was. Yeah, I agree with you, Jose. I think that those 3 were the best. And you know what? It's a really scary thought that the best 3 players on your pitch were ultimately responsible for keeping us in the game.
Yes.
And yet we were crap, but we end up getting a point, and they deserve to win that game. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stole the point.
Which if it wasn't Fulham if it wasn't Fulham on the roster, if it happened to be if it was Chelsea or if it was Arsenal or if it was City, we'd probably all be celebrating a well earned, like a well drilled out point. But the fact it was Fulham, you know.
I mean, I don't know whether it was lethargy. I don't know whether they were tired. I mean, I really don't know. It's as if I don't know. They just didn't have no oomph about them at all. And
but Jose, right? Decky and Solanke have worked their balls off. Apart from Sarr, I think has been excellent. He's grabbed his chance when he's coming his team this season.
Yeah, right? Sarr's been great. Yeah.
Apart, you take those 2 out, right? Now, come on, Maddison Bissouma, fucking step up, right? Bissouma should be coming because he hasn't got Romero to be quarterback. Bissouma should be coming like taking the ball, right, beating the press and doing that. I'm not impressed with Bissouma. I tell you what, anyone energetic, I would get in. Edison, Fratesi, whatever is, I'd ditch him. I'd even give Gray that position. I know he might be a bit quicker on the turn, but like.
Here is a call for wisdom. Let the one who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. And that number is 6. 6. We need a monster. We need a beast. We need a 6.
And that number is actually bollocks in the Bible, by the way.
And I felt we also missed Solanke today.
We did.
They sent him home sick, so he must have the virus or whatever. Maybe he's got.
I've got to be honest though. Like, what's going on with Romero? Like, he was the guy that would always turn up, and suddenly, like, we like, oh, you go spend some more time with your family. I think there's something under the current there.
No, he's supposed to be fit for Thursday.
Well, it better be. I think there's an unspoken something going on.
He's approached these last 2 years of his contract. You don't want to sign for us? Fuck off, go.
Okay, well, if he comes back, right? If he comes, so let's say if he comes back against Bournemouth, right? Ange's got to make a decision. Does he select him because he's one of the captains? Does he come straight back into the team, or do you keep your 2 centre halves who've played well for the last few games, or if he does pick him back into the team, who does he put beside him? Who plays beside him?
Great question, Jose. What do you do?
He's got more pace.
So you put Dragusin alongside Van De Ven?
No, Romero.
No. Fuck Romero. Fuck Romero. But let me ask this though: if Van de Ven comes back in,
it's not. It's Romero's. Romero's likely to come.
Be back.
Romero's back first.
Romero's back first. Yeah, that's why I'm asking the question.
I don't think you drop Dragusin. No. I think Romero sits on the bench. Alan, what do you think, mate?
Oh my God! Knowing Anne, she's probably going to put Romero right back in, and we'll probably see Dragusin. Even though Ben Davies is at the end of he's kind of at the end of his life at Tottenham. You know, I think, and I just don't see him putting Ben Davies in. Ben Davies, I think, also may not care. He's very much a team player. I don't know how much he wants to start every game at this point in his career. But I think Dragusin is starting to come into it. And earlier in the season, we were saying we need to see more of Dragusin because he needs time to grow. You know, his manager or his agent has talked him up big, but he wasn't getting a lot of play time. So I think we're going to see more of Dragusin and Romero, and maybe a little less of Ben Davies. Look, Ben Davies can also play on the left or the right. You could, if Porro is injured or if Udogie gets injured, you can always shift Ben Davies over to one of those sides.
Yeah.
Well, like I see just for pace. I think if it's pace, it's Dragusin, Romero. But because it's just. I mean, I could be totally wrong. Maybe Ange might think.
I don't think you can't. If you've got to pick between Ben Davies and Dragusin, and Romero does come back in, I think you got to give Ben Davies. Like Ben Davies has been just as good as.
Yeah, he's been brilliant.
He's been brilliant.
Oh, I think he's great.
Him and falls through a bit like today.
I'd make the argument if Romero's ready for Thursday, I make the argument that you leave him on the fucking bench.
Because for me, the reason why I asked the question is because when Romero and Dragusin played together, they switched. They switched for the Newcastle game. They switched Romero and Dragusin, so Romero played
left.
Yeah,
Romero's on the left side,
and Romero was the blame for both the goals against Newcastle because he was standing side on as a right-footed centre half and left, right, and then to me as well with Davies, the way that Davies has played, Davies is a calming influence on the rest of the defence. And you don't get the helter-skelter football with Davies, and Davies is naturally left-footed. So I'm thinking to myself, would he pick Romero?
You don't put Dragusin on the left, and there's no way that you drop Ben Davies.
Hold on.
Ben Davies has been Ben Davies has been better than Dragusin.
Hold on. The first goal against Newcastle, they took the quick throw, caught us cold, right? In the middle, they scored the goal, right? The second goal, right? Udogie should have been closer to Murphy, right? Porro and Romero are all in a line. Dragusin didn't know where stick or twist. He's not used to playing in a back four. He played everyone on side. Having said that, I would blame Romero for not organising the back four. But it's one of them, isn't it? Like when you introduce a new defender.
How much would you take for him in the summer? Quick answer. You know what? We've been going for 3 hours. I know you just joined, mate. But
for Romero,
I'm also a little bit sloppy now. I'm a little bit drunk.
Cool, Sean. Yeah. How much will you take for who?
Yeah, go on, last sort of question. The last topic of the night. If Romero gets a bid from Real Madrid, what's it going to take? A Real Madrid bid. How much is he going to take?
They won't pay the
I reckon you're looking at a minimum of 80 million. Minimum.
80.
That's low.
80 minimum. I said minimum.
Yeah. I think they look for cheaper. If they can't get Romero, the thing is though, or they might go for a Saliba or something like that. But what you got to look at is, depending on the club and their attitude, if Real Madrid are that desperate for a central defender to replace Ramos, right, or whatever, and they can't get one, if Spurs refuse to sell, you can force.
I don't rate him. I don't rate him like.
Fair enough.
I mean, I do rate him. He's a good player, but I don't think
just hear me out. Right? Tactically, if Spurs refuse to sell, he knows he's on 2 years, right? And then Real Madrid have to look elsewhere. They ain't looking for him the following season.
Yeah, it's like
all these little.
It's like Harry Kane all over again.
Yeah, you got all these interplays. I'm not saying they would. And we don't know if he likes the club. I mean, like how much he might. I mean, we know that Porro loves the club. We know Son loves the club, right? But we don't know if Romero.
How much is Porro worth?
90, 80, 90.
So Pedro Porro is worth more than Romero.
You really think he's worth that much?
I'd reckon
I
about
think
50.
I think
I
that's
do.
50.
I was going to say 40 to
80
50.
million pounds.
I do
80
because
million isn't what it
his
used to be.
contract. Hold on, is 2028, whereas Romero is 2 years when we get round at summer. So you got to sell or decide what you're going to do with him.
I just don't think 80 million quid is what it used to be. You know, 40 million pound gets you Archie Gray. Like, I know he's homegrown and stuff, but let's be honest. Like World Cup winner in Romero, I think 100 million. I think that Pedro Porro probably 90. I think that Pedro Porro is not as worth as much as Romero in the bigger market because of the World Cup.
Well,
thing.
Romero's won the World Cup, 2 Copa Americas. Right?
That's what I mean, right?
It's
So
got a CV.
if someone said 200 million for the pair, bite your hand off. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but the money,
Yeah.
the
I'll
people that
take
can
the money.
afford to pay that
I'll
money
take it.
are the Premiership. Abroad, European clubs can't afford to pay this though.
True.
They can't afford to pay this money. So we're really the fantasy money that we're looking at.
The top clubs can though. The top clubs.
Do you
No,
think
they're
so, Sean?
still skint
I don't
show.
think they're skin. They're not spending, are they?
Real
No, they haven't
Madrid.
been.
Real
But
Madrid.
How much do they pay for
If Real Madrid want a
Mbappe?
player, that they can get it and they can
Yeah,
find the
they'll
money. They
work
always
it
have been
out
able to.
somehow, but they're skint. I think they'll pay that money for a Galactico striker, a world-class midfielder. They're not paying it for a defender. They're not paying it for
Dominic Solanke cost you 70 million, give or take. Are we really going to let Dominic Romero go for less? I don't think so.
No.
I just said a minimum.
You
It
could
might-
hold
it
him
might
for
be
the
more
2
than that.
years if you
More than
wanted
that,
to.
but I'm saying a minimum of 80 million for Romero.
Minimum
It might
80,
be
but
upwards.
I'd say 100 million for
Upwards.
Romero, and I think that Pedro Porro is also worth 9. I don't think there's
All
many
our other
players.
players are on
There's a
longer
shift
contracts.
towards
They
pure
go
football.
nowhere.
Like, fullbacks are like the role of the fullback is changing, and all the best clubs is changing. You can't just be like, to be honest, for what it's worth, Kenny Tete. How about this? I thought about this on the way home. I even like got my phone out on the way home and started recording a video about this. And I was like, actually, I can't do this, so I'm driving. But would you handle that? How about this, right? Let's say someone came in, let's say Real Madrid came in for Pedro Porro and said, here's 85 million quid, just for argument's sake. Just forget about it, right? He's gone.
Take it.
Right, but forget that. Would you go to Fulham and say, we'll take Anthony Robinson and Kenny Tete, right? And we'll give you Serge Reguilon and Jed Spence plus 15 million quid, 20 million quid.
They wouldn't take it. They're not stupid.
What, Jed Spence homegrown?
Tete's a free
Jed Spence
agent
would do
in the
really
summer.
well. Jed Spence would be great in a Fulham team. It's a perfect sort of level for him.
How old is Tete?
26?
Okay, he's a free agent in the summer.
Is he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Trent is a free agent in the summer as well. So Real Madrid are likely to go for Trent. So Porro's off the map.
Yeah, but Trent's not going to leave Liverpool.
Do you not think so?
No chance.
might-
He's going to get a
I'm
fucking
sort of
monster
after
new
the
contract.
Sean
To
here
play with
because, like,
Mbappe, might.
because Liverpool are doing so well at the moment. and
Trent's not leaving.
Yeah.
Trent's just going to get his new contract. Like, he's not going to go anywhere. You get a nice contract. You know what? He won't get the contract. Won't be that great on paper. It will be one of those. We'll give you 150, 180 grand a week, but if you get to the semi-final of the Champions League, we'll give you an extra, 5 million quid or whatever. However their thing works.
Yeah.
But I would take Kenny. I think Kenny Tete and Robinson. They're perfectly balanced. They're perfectly balanced fullbacks.
I would take
Brilliant.
Udogie tomorrow from Lecce. He's 20, and I think he's fantastic.
The guy from Wolves. The guy
And I
from
would
Wolves. Left back from Wolves.
And I like
Nori.
and I like
Nori.
Angel Gomez because when the videos I've looked at him, when I'm looking for players with vision who move the ball quickly, can make things happen. And the way he hits an angled ball out to the left and right wings, I think would be perfect in our system. But and I think he's coming into his last year of his contract, so we'll see. I think there's options to get bargains in January. I think we'll get a couple in. We definitely need a left back, though. Definitely, we're desperate for a left back.
Yeah, so I love Destiny Udogie. I want to keep him, but I think we need a
and
backup.
Slanky and his team we really need a dynamic midfielder.
We need a
Loads
beast.
of
We
energy.
don't need a dynamic midfielder. We need a beast, a
Same thing.
specificity
Yes,
based beast.
Get with the program. He put the
Six.
comment up there for the 666.
Sean, get your boots and I'll get a gun, right?
Lads, listen, we've been going for 3 hours. It's a perfect time to say let's round it off. Listen, I'm probably going to wake up in the morning and go, "Okay, now what have I've got dug into."
No, you've been
topics I didn't want to
cool.
talk
You've been cool.
It is what it is.
No, you've
I
been
don't care.
fine.
I don't care anymore. Listen, any of you guys, listen, all of you are always welcome. If you, I put it in the chat. If you want to take my number, if you want to get to, I need to rebuild out a WhatsApp group. Message me on SpursTalkShow@proton.me. Same with anyone in the chat who wants to come on the panel. It's difficult, obviously. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. But listen, for the three of you that are on here, before we come to you, I want to say massive thank you to the guys that were on earlier.
I've got my number in there, but I think you've got it anyway, Sean.
I've got your number anyway. But to anybody else who wants to join the panel, like I say, tonight was just throw it out there. Thank you to everyone that came on. Thank you for the super chats. Alan, Adrian, Jose, I'll let you go this way around, and then like that. Any channels, any Twitter handles you want to plug? Alan, mate, great to have you back, man. I missed you. I love your
Missed you too.
Incredible fucking background, man. It's just like a just a place I want to come and see. To be honest, so let me know what's going on.
Please come. It's a Team Tottenham Go. And I'm on a little bit of a hiatus because it's the holiday season. Gets kind of busy. But I'll still pop into fan channels, and I'm on Adrian's channel a bunch, Spurs Diehards TTID, and with Jose at Heltel Cockerell. That's what's going on. Team Tottenham Go.
Amazing, man. Great to see you, Alan. Thank you again for the super chat earlier, man. You never just do that sort of stuff,
My pleasure. My pleasure,
legend, man. You're a legend. Adrian, mate, great to have you as well, buddy. What's going on over at
great to see you back. I'm a big fan of yours. And Alan,
likewise.
Pissed off that you can sit around palm trees at this time of the year and we're freezing fucking bollocks off the UK, right? But love you to death, and you're one over generous person, right? You know what I mean? And we're doing okay. Spurs Diehards are doing okay. We're obviously going to get you back. We're hoping to get Sean on, and Jose ain't being such a fucking snob, right? So
I'll come on Tuesday.
And he's off for 3 weeks for his as well. You know what I mean?
I'll come on your show on Tuesday.
Yes, Jose. Sean does
on Tuesday. I'll be there, mate.
Finances than me, and so does Kieran Maguire. But I've got one qualification years ago in finances, which means jack shit, basically. But no, thanks for letting me come on, Sean. I mean, I like being on with you. I mean,
always
I like to say it's very grounded and sensible, I've
got very little, few other distractions in life, so I'm going to be doing probably everyday streams and my usual walks. So we're back. But like I say, Adrian, I know you text me a few times on my old number, but you want me to come on Tuesday? I think you said Tuesday's your day. I'll come on this Tuesday. Thank you for coming on, my man.
I'd like to get Bugsy's view on Spurs Diehards as well.
she's got some. She barking mad, that one. She's barking fucking mad with her takes.
She looks absolutely gorgeous, though. Go on.
She's a great girl. She's a great girl. I think she's got a little bit of glass in her foot because she's always holding a paw. I'll take her to the vet tomorrow. Jose, man, I'm sorry you came on late. I didn't know you were waiting for 15 minutes. I feel terrible about that. Sorry, buddy. What's going on over on Heltel Cockerell? What's the score?
So just to answer, Ross Pilston has just put a comment in there. I need a US-based Spurs group. Can anyone help? There's Spurs groups in America in all the big cities. So I don't know where you live, Ross, in America, but the first point of call I'd tell you is try Colorado Spurs. You got Leo from the Mile High there, and he could probably point you in the right direction for other Spurs fan groups in America. You're in New York, Ross. Yeah, if you look up the Mile High Hotspur, his name's Leo, the Mile High Hotspur. He's from Colorado Spurs, and he can tell you who the other groups are throughout the states. No, for me, it's not about plugging the channel. For me, it was just about coming on, saying hello, Sean, and seeing how you are, mate.
Yeah.
So
I'm all right, mate. Yeah,
that was it. So for me, it wasn't about coming on and plugging the channel. That's for another day.
No, but you got a
for
channel.
me-
You've got a channel, right? You work.
Yeah, but
you
it's
work
not
with-
about plug. For me, it wasn't about plugging the
Yeah,
channel. It's
but
about
just
coming to
plug
see
away
you.
anyway.
So,
I appreciate it, mate. It's great to have you. Great to see you. But listen, the moments there. Listen, to be honest, it's been listen. One viewer's brilliant. Never question it. But it's a the numbers tonight have been it's typical Sunday night stuff. So, but listen, mate, crack on with
well,
plug
then
away, mate.
it's
Plug
there
away.
as it says. It says in my name is Eltel Cockerell. If people are interested.
Yeah. Jose's amazing. Jose's a great guy. He's obviously he dots around as well. You see him on loads of different channels. But Jose, you're a legend, mate. I've written down your number here. I'll be building out my old WhatsApp list again and getting things going like we used to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a massive thank you. I know that what's going to happen tomorrow is I'm going to wake up to a barrage of
abuse,
no doubt clips and all that shit. Can't wait. You know what, guys? I don't give a fuck anymore.
That's the way to be, though. That's the way to be.
All right, listen. I love you all. My man Ross. Get in touch with either. Colorado Spurs is great. Also, Jacob, United Spurs of America.
Yeah,
You'll be able to put you in the right direction as well.
Yes,
Shout out
Jacob.
to you guys.
If you're about.
And I want to say massive thank you to all of you. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the 3-hour rant. And like I say, shouldn't have got sidetracked by that stuff. And probably going to get all the heat from it. I don't care. Well, it is what it is.
You'll be fine.
The way I do. I love you all. And maybe, just maybe, in a little while, maybe Stella and I will go and be able to kind of get this off this thing done once and for all. Either way, it doesn't happen. If it does happen, who gives a fuck? It's just opinions anyway. Love you all. Big up you, Jacob. Love you, my man. Good to see you all, guys. We're going to round it off. I'll see you tomorrow for bright and early for Bugsy Malone's Walk and Talk. Until then, like, subscribe, and comment to all these wonderful people. And I want to say thank you again. And
come on, you
as
Spurs.
always, come on,
you Spurs.
Spurs. 666, the beast. Take care. Bye-bye.